All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We can pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe but receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise the Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. Likewise, you wives, in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conduct of the wives, while they behold your chaste conduct with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward of plaiting the hair and wearing of gold or putting on of apparel, but let it be that hidden man of the heart, that which is not corruptible, shalom, Amen, of a meek and quiet ruach, which in the sight of Elohim of great price. For after this manner in the old time, the Kadash women who trusted in Elohim, shalom, Brother Robert, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Peace, Brother Mom. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And finally, be you all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, railing for railing, but contrite, blessed, shalom, Brother Martin, knowing that you are therefore called, that you should inherit a blessing. Now, we were dealing with showing honor to the weaker vessel Wednesday, as the Lord had done it. And I mentioned something that we wanted to deal with. Let's begin with that now. Genesis 3 and 15, Civic, if you would.
And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children.
And what you bring forth children?
In sorrow. And your desire to your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Your desire to your who?
Your husband.
And he'll what?
Rule over you.
Now I'm going to show you this threefold now. Go back to 1 Peter 3 and 7, see if we can read it again. Molly. Shalom, Mother Shalom. What's happening with you, so?
Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Dwell with them according to what?
To knowledge.
What else?
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
As unto the who?
Weaker vessel.
What else?
And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Paul, go ahead and tell them what weaker vessel is one more time. Duque.
Weaker is asthenes, that's weak and firm, feeble. Vessel is skuos, that's a vessel, an implement.
And of course it goes down later and tells you that that's something that is useful to the husband. Now, with that being said, I want you to come over here to Psalm 40. We're about to do three things. I want you to read Genesis 3 and 16 one more time, though.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire to your husband.
He said, in sorrow you'll bring forth who?
children.
Bring forth who?
Children.
And your desire
to your husband.
Tell them what desire means.
Teshukah, a desire, longing, craving.
Remember how we were talking about why you with a man you don't like? And so you have a longing, a desire, and a craving. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Well, if that woman don't long for you, man, that woman don't desire you, man, that's not your wife, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? That's somebody's wife, but that ain't your wife. I'm tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about that earlier today. You know what I'm saying? The sister was like, she got the dude like to cuddle with her. And I'm like, and y'all ain't together and he just cuddling with you? Because I'm going to tell y'all something, man. And I'm be honest with you. Because a lot of people don't be honest with people who in the word, right? Everybody here is flesh and blood and you human. You know what I'm talking about? And indeed, bro. And there is absolutely no way, and I mean no way, for a heterosexual male to be in close, intimate contact with a woman he finds attractive and don't have a desire to want to have courtship with her. If he is able to do that on a consistent basis, that man is homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody on earth that disciplined. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just being 100% honest with you. Ain't nobody on earth that disciplined. That's a fallacy that you want to craft and create in your mind, man. You're a human being. Consequently, if that woman can be in that close proximity with you and it is not difficult for her to refrain from sexual intercourse, I'm not talking about that she gonna do it. I said that it's difficult for her to refrain. Because if she can refrain and it's easy for her, she don't like you. Meaning she doesn't have a desire for you. She doesn't have a longing for you. She doesn't have a craving for you. She is not your wife. Period. People like to skirt all that. No, man, you don't want no woman who don't desire you, bro. I'm talking about in every area of life. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about just physically, man. You know what I'm saying? This woman should desire you all the way around the board. Because if she don't, that's not your wife. Notice he said your desire be to your who?
Your husband.
That means you have a longing, a desire, and a craving for that man. Consequently, ladies, if you don't have that, that man not your husband. You don't like him like that. Tell him what rule is then.
It's mashal. To rule, have dominion.
To have rule, to have dominion. And that's how it was from the beginning anyway. Some people think that this is just coming from the curse. It's not from the curse. Adam was set and had dominion over everything. That's how he made it. Because at that point, you'll be saying that the last Adam don't have dominion over Yasharal. Now you see how silly that sounds? Now, with that being said, read that verse again.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your
Pause.
conception.
We talked about that. Multiply your sorrows in conception or pregnancy. We're going to deal with that. What else?
In sorrow you shall bring forth children.
In sorrow you're going to bring forth children. And what else?
Your desire to your husband.
Your desire, and he going to rule over you. Psalms 40:1. Now, this is consequently we're dealing with weaker vessel. Psalms 41.
I waited patiently for Yahuwah, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me up also out of a horrible pit.
He brought me out of where?
A horrible pit.
Out of where?
Out of a horrible pit.
And where?
Out of the miry clay.
And set my feet where?
Upon a rock.
Set my feet where?
Upon a rock.
Where?
Upon a rock.
Deuteronomy 32:1 on general principle with that rock. You had to give a life lesson? A lesson in life? Yeah, because I ain't got to be in there. I already know what your problem is. You're selfish and inconsiderate and think the world revolves around your desires. And grossly immature for your age and dealing with someone who's younger than you. Because you don't deal with people your size like that because you know there's a threat of physical violence equal to what you can enact. You feel like you can take her, which is a sign of a coward. And that's important.
What is that? She doesn't listen. So even if you're trying to communicate with her, she doesn't listen.
That she does not.
So that also is a difficult dynamic when her trying to communicate, hey, let me hold this. No, I don't want you. You know, now you gotta teach another way.
Yeah, that's when I just walk away. You always gotta remember this here. She'll tell grown people she don't want to. What make you think she gonna listen to you? Go ahead. It said can be lined up with Jeremiah putting out the pit. Oh, you gotta let me know what verse you're talking about. Come on with it, man.
Say, give ear, O you shout, O heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, and the words out of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahuwah, ascribe you greatness unto our Elohim. The rock, his work is perfect.
He's the what?
The rock.
And his work is what?
Perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
Tell me what working perfect is.
Work is all work, deed, or doing.
Yeah, you can't stand on that, son.
And then perfect is talmid.
So these are perfect, complete, and integrity-laced works. He wants to step on that, and he can't do it. All right, come on with it, man. Come on.
All his ways, judgment.
Come on and read me Jeremiah 38:3. Let me see what that says.
Thus saith Yahuwah, this city shall surely be given
son.
to the hand of the king of Babylon's army, which shall take it. Therefore the princes said unto the king, we beseech you, let this man be put to death, for thus he weakened the hands of the men of war that remain in this city, and the hands of all the people, speaking such words unto them, for this man seek not the welfare of this people, but the hurt. Then Zedekiah the king said, behold, he's in your hand, but the king is not he that can do anything against you. Then they took Jeremiah, cast him into the dungeon.
Now, Paul, this one just the miry isn't the part that should have been focused on. It's the fact of him being in jail. Him being in jail and being in jail in the high priest's house specifically is akin to when the Lord was in jail. And then the second part is they'll be dealing with the grave. Like Psalms 40 dealing with the grave, but sometimes don't just look for, oh, it's a miry here and miry there. Look to see, do these concepts are the same? Not necessarily if the words are the same. Go ahead.
Then they took Jeremiah and cast him into the dungeon of Malchiah, the son of Hemelech, that was in the court of the prison, and they let down Jeremiah with cords, and in the dungeon there was no water.
There was no what?
No water.
There was no what?
No water.
But
mire. So Jeremiah sunk in the
mire. Go ahead and tell them what mire means, man. Now y'all should know about the pit where there was no water.
That's teat, mud, clay, mire, damp dirt.
So damp dirt. And obviously that speaks for itself. But you remember that Joseph was put in the pit where there was no water. Zechariah 9 tells you about the pit where there is no water. Meaning if there is no ma'im, then there is no life. Jeremiah 7:37 on the house.
Is that 7:37?
Yep. John 7:37.
In the last day, the great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink.
And what?
He that believe on me, as the scripture hath said,
out of his belly
shall flow rivers of living water.
That's good. Now, there's other places we could have used for living water. I just chose that one because that's what I wanted to choose. You may choose another, and that's your prerogative. The thing is there's no life in the grave. What is that? Is that Isaiah 38:6? Tell me what Isaiah 38:6 say. It might be 38. Let me tell you what that say.
And I will deliver you in this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto you from Yahuwah, that Yahuwah will do this thing that he had spoken.
That's right.
Behold, I will bring again the shadows of the degrees, which is going down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees.
38 and 18. That's what it is. That's too much. We don't got to read all that. 38 and 18.
For the grave cannot praise you.
The grave can't do what?
Praise you.
What else it can't do?
Death cannot celebrate you. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for your truth.
They that go down in your pit can't hope for your what?
For your truth.
This part of the reason, again, as you know, why he preached to the spirits in prison, but ain't no life in there. So somebody had to go in there and place life in there. Come back to Psalms 40 and 1. Now, of course, when you're looking at, again, the sinking in the mire or sinking in the clay or the sinking into the ground. So when we come back to Psalms 40 and 1, or 40 and 2, he said he brought me out of the where?
Horrible pit.
Out of the what?
Miry clay.
Set my feet
upon a rock.
And established
my goal.
Now, see, we read the part with the rock to see that he was established on his God. That was the point I was reading at. You know what I'm saying? That he was established upon his rock, on his God, to where he could not be moved. You know what I'm saying? He rose him from the dead and set him upon the name of his God to where he would not be moved. Continue, verse 3.
And he had put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our Elohim.
Many shall what?
See
and
fear
and
shall trust in Yahuwah.
Baruch is the man
that make Yahuwah his trust.
Baruch is the man
that make Yahuwah his trust.
Baruch is the man
that make Yahuwah his trust.
And respect,
not the proud,
nor as such
as turn aside to lies.
See, you not blessed if you don't make Yahuwah your trust, and if you respect the proud and turn aside the lies. Well, you're not a blessed individual, and I guess you know the opposite of that. Verse 5.
Many, O Yahuwah my Elohim, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts which are to us word. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto you. I would declare and speak of them. They are more than can be numbered.
Sacrifice.
An offering you did not desire.
Sacrifice.
An offering you did not desire.
My ears
have you opened.
Burnt offering.
And sin offering have you not required.
See, come over here to 1 Samuel 15 and 22. Jamul. That man don't want that.
Now you playing games. And Samuel said, have you Yahuwah as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah?
Does he have great delight in what?
In burnt offerings and sacrifices.
As he has in what?
Obeying the voice of Yahuwah.
See, go to Jeremiah 7:22. Because everybody be talking about sacrifice. That man don't give a damn about no sacrifices.
For I spake not unto your fathers.
I spake not unto Yahuwah.
Your fathers.
I spake not unto Yahuwah.
Your fathers.
About what?
Nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices.
What he commanded them?
But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your Elohim, and you shall be my people.
So the whole thing is he want the righteous obedience of faith, not your sacrifices. But let's take it a step further. Psalm 50 and 4. Shalom, Brother Shaul. Don't pay him no mind. He tired. Psalm 50 and 4.
He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
They made a covenant with him by what?
By sacrifice.
By who?
By sacrifice.
Oh my God, today. Verse 14.
Offer unto Elohim thanksgiving and pay your vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble, I will deliver you. You shall esteem me. But unto the wicked, Elohim say, what have you to declare my statutes?
Back me up about verse 8.
I will not reprove you for your sacrifices.
I will not reprove you for your sacrifices.
Or your burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of your house.
I ain't taking damn.
Nor he goat out of your fold.
Not damn.
For every beast of the forest is mine.
It's mine.
And the cattle upon 1,000 hills.
It's mine.
I know all the fowls of the mountains and the wild beasts of the field are mine.
Go ahead.
If I were hungry, I would not tell you.
If I was hungry, I wouldn't tell
For
you.
the world is mine and the fullness thereof.
So that man never cared about your sacrifices, man. You care about them sacrifices. He don't care about them sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Come on back to Psalm 4. Come on. 40 and 6.
Sacrifice and offering you did not desire. My ears have you opened. Burnt offering and sin offering have you not required.
Then said I,
Lo, I come in the volume of the book.
it is what?
Written of me.
I delight,
To do your will,
O my Elohim.
Yea, your law within my heart.
Paul. Now we came here because in Hebrews it'll tell you how he said that a body you have prepared for me. Now go to Hebrews 2 and 12. Stop before you hurt him. Hebrews 2 and 12.
Saying, I will declare your name unto my brethren in the midst of the assembly. Will I sing
Put that
praise
back.
unto you. And
Read that again. Put that back.
saying, I will declare your name unto my brethren. In the midst of the assembly will I sing praise unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which Elohim have given me.
Mm-hmm.
For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood,
He likewise.
took part of the same.
Why?
That through death he might destroy him that had the power of death.
That is
the devil.
Now he said, right? He said that children are partakers of flesh and blood. He likewise took part of the same.
Mm-hmm.
1 Corinthians 15 and 34. First Corinthians 15 and 34. Yes, ma'am. Since we got to slow it down. 1 Corinthians 15 and 34.
Say, awake to righteousness and sin not. For some have not the knowledge of Elohim.
But that's 33, but we'll allow it.
I speak to your shame. But some will say, how are the dead raised up?
How are the what?
Dead raised up.
Come on.
And with what body do they come?
What body do they come?
You fool, that which you sowed is not quickened except it die. And that which you sow not that body that shall be, but bear grain, and make chance of wheat or of some other grain.
Mm-hmm.
But Elohim give it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body.
Every seed his own body.
All flesh is not the same flesh, but one of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, another of birds.
That's right.
Also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial.
That's right.
But the esteem of the celestial is one, and the esteem of the terrestrial another.
Okay.
One esteem of the sun, another esteem of the moon, and
Talk to
another
him.
esteem of the stars.
That's it.
For one star differ from another star in esteem. So also the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption.
It is raised.
in incorruption.
Talk that talk.
It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in esteem. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in
Hold
power.
on. It's sown in who?
In weakness.
And who?
In weakness.
My God, today.
It is raised in power.
It's raised in who?
In power.
Now, I came here because he said, go ahead. Just finish it out.
It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual
So
body.
that natural body is sown in weakness, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a natural body and there's a spiritual body.
There's a natural body and there's a...
A spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul.
The second.
A quickening ruach.
Keep on, good sir.
Howbeit that not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural.
Not that which is spiritual, but that which is what?
Natural.
My God,
And
today.
afterward, that which is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
The first man of the earth, earthy. The second man, the Lord from Shamayim. And the earthy, such are they also that are earthy.
Now pause. This when you look at the apostle telling you that Adam was sown in weakness, you can see why the apostle Peter is telling you that the woman is the weaker vessel. Because if the man is sown in weakness, then and the woman come from the man, she would have to also be weaker than him because he's weaker than God. You know what I'm saying? Now we're looking at a threefold thing. Do y'all understand the threefold thing that we're about to look at? We're about to look at how there was trouble and sorrow in conception and childbearing for Mashiach's sake, and that the Father showed honor to the weaker vessel as it pertains to him because he made himself like unto the flesh. Therefore, that he could show the weaker vessel honor unto the weaker vessel, i.e. his wife, so that you can have the framework of how to behave to show honor to the weaker vessel being your wife. What we're looking at is a pattern of behavior. See, what a lot of people want to do when they look at these epistles and they look at these things that are said, if you want to see how to actually manifest that behavior, you have to look at the example of them actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? See, people like to go in the text. This is why we look at things in a very specific and nuanced manner. This is that reason why we do this. People will look at stuff in here and they'll just tell people this is what you're supposed to do, instead of actually taking the time to show them Yahuwah doing it, showing the Father doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you see the pattern of behavior, then you can actually see what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? See, like when you read wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands. Now, of course, the Son of God is not the wife of the Father, but you understand, you see the same dynamic. He is submitted to his Father in everything. You know what I'm talking about? So he's not telling you to do something that he hasn't done himself. You know what I'm talking about? That's what people don't really realize, is that the Father and Son do not instruct anyone to do anything that they haven't done themselves. The problem with most people is they don't do it, so they assume that he don't do it. No, sir. That's your poor conduct. That's your poor character. Speak for yourself. And you have to know how to make the separation between the two. Yes, absolutely. You have to model your behavior for children, not just tell them. But you know, most people, more specifically black people, you're not raised like that. You raised to do what I say and not as I do. That's what most black people are told. Now whether or not you were raised that way, that's different. Because of course we know we're not a monolith, not like all the way across the board. Hey, put that back. Henceforth, that's what everybody had and everybody did, because that's preposterous. We're just talking about in general. You know what I'm saying? In general, most black people know that saying. Your people would tell you not to smoke cigarettes while grandma in the back room smoking all the Newports. They telling you don't drink alcohol, but they always drinking in there every weekend. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see no problem with that type of deal. People tell you go to church and serve God and love God, and they sin in every day. And you watch them do it, and then they're shocked when you don't want to go to church. Hold on, y'all. Thank you, son. Man, look here, man. That was my homeboy. YJ was telling me this. It's crazy because we ain't got to go into no detail, but it's an individual use of fellowship around here. That nigga's on life support right now. Only thing you could be able to do is get off of that, boy. Stop. And pray for his wife in return. You know what I'm saying? One of my home, that was Fat Boy sending me that one there, but I had seen, hey, my dog had shared it, man. One of our homeboys just died. You know what I'm saying? We got a sister, she need prayers because her parents ain't in the greatest of health at the moment. And this goes to what I was telling y'all the other day, man. Especially that situation, one of them situations. Man, look here, man. Niggas be going through it with people, man. Stuff don't even be that serious. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of people like, oh, we beefing. You niggas not beefing. You know what I'm saying? Because beef is when I see you, I'm going to do something to you. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. You can be mad with your people, man, whoever it may be. You ain't got to denigrate them and talk bad about them, especially to other people. Damn sure not on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Because then when something bad happened to them, now you want to sit around looking crazy and feeling sad. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't have all that energy while they were walking. See, I'm a different type of nigga. If I didn't fool with you when you was alive, boys F you when you're dead too. You know what I'm talking about? Like all the way around the board. Yeah, it's like, no, man, ain't gonna be like, oh, man, because that's fake as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Man, if it was up when you was alive, it's up when you dead too. It's not like, well, let me send I ain't sending nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't rejoicing in no destruction on you or nothing like that, but I feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that means we got to really be opposed. Man, y'all don't be beefing with nobody like that for real, man. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of times, y'all ain't even beefing with people. This nigga mad. You ain't even a part of that. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even, what is you mad for? You know what you got to tell them when they do that? Tell them put on a cape and be super mad. You know what I'm talking about? Put an S on it too. That's the only thing you can tell them. It's certain stuff. If you dishonor yourself, it's like, okay, I'm going to remove myself from your presence. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, a lot of stuff, man, y'all be getting angry with people. I ain't gonna say y'all, it's like y'all specifically, but I mean just people in general. They get mad. You want to talk bad about that person to everybody you see except them. You want to get on the internet and post all that type of stuff. Man, don't do that, because when they land in the casket, you're gonna be feeling stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't really be about nothing. You and your feelings and you going overboard. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up with a whole bunch of dudes, man. Like, niggas might get upset with each other, man. Brothers be mad with each other, man. I'm not finna down talk my brother, though. Just because we ain't seeing eye to eye right now. We just not seeing eye to eye right now. Man, we got to stop doing that, man. That's immature, man. You know what I'm saying? I told you that Wednesday, man. Man, go see about your people. Man, if you got people, man, y'all ain't seeing eye to eye, man. If it really ain't that serious, y'all need to go sit down and have a conversation, iron that out. Niggas too grown, man. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to be pulling up and sitting looking at a nigga in the hospital bed wondering is when he get out that bed, he gonna leave on his 2 feet. Niggas, like I said, Jimmy said the other way, we was in that hospital yesterday. He like, man, I seen them wheel 3 dead bodies. Nigga damn sure pulled up on me with one. He talking about, oh, you putting those on the elevator? You can go ahead, cuz. Because I'm not trying to be standing here with you while you got this dead body in this hallway. You know what I'm talking about? Go on, get this person up out of here, man. Get him where you take him. But this was the funeral home, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because, you know, when somebody die, I think they take him out at least at Shands, because every time we come in there, they take a dead body out. I think they take him out through the service elevator. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they wheel him through the other elevators. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I knew this nigga was there because covered up, green blanket. And I seen the nigga thing, man, QL Douglas. You know what I'm talking about? But look at, man, that stuff don't be that serious, bro. Because then you're going to wish you in. And then sometimes, man, you got to be careful what you say out your mouth, man. As the old people say, be careful what you wish for, man. You just might get it while you're saying this and you're saying that. You know what I'm saying? Lord, snatch him away. Now you looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? All because you upset. You know what I mean? So you were just talking about a few days ago situation. Like, yeah, man, it's not that serious, bro. I promise to you, it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? You love people, man. You should love them enough to be able to sort disagreements and disputes out. Especially for people who say they in the word. Y'all should have some level of maturity where you can communicate like adults. You know what I'm saying? If you can't communicate like an adult to people who you love, like, what you got going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Be for real, bro. Be for real, man. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. If you always in conflict with everybody, that's not everybody else, nigga. That's you. You are the common denominator. You know what I'm talking about? You be at odds with everybody. Man, them people not persecuting you, man. You're incorrigible. You know what I'm saying? You're insufferable. You know what I'm saying? You're extremely difficult to deal with. And it's easier for you to play the victim and say everybody is coming at you. Everybody ain't coming at you, man. For sure. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, ain't that serious, man. Just love your people, man. Man, this thing, that man told you that in Proverbs, man. Your life ain't but a vapor. You know what I'm saying? If you from the South, you know what UGK told you. One day you here, baby, and the next day you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. Like, it might sound slow, brother Ernie, man. It might sound cliche, but that's the reality of the situation. Boy, one day you here, the next day you gone, boy. And both of them gentlemen I just mentioned to you, boy, I'm 44. They younger than me. You know what I'm talking about? They younger than me. pt5, man, and they out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Well, one of them still here. One of them out of here, though. You know what I'm saying? Now, that junk ain't no game, man. I say, man, my dog did something to that, man. Now my nigga too, man. Justin out of here, man. That boy could have been about 40, maybe about between 40 and 42. Because I know I was probably about 2-3 grades ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? That junk be wild, man. You know what I'm saying? You walk around here thinking you going to be 60, 70, 80 years old. And boy, these niggas be gone, boy. I'm talking about no homicide either. There's just as many people I know who done lost their life from violence. I know a whole bunch of others who didn't. Shoot, nigga. My nigga Tony died from a heart attack. Boy, that nigga wasn't even 40. You hear me? We was in our 30s, man. We was in our 30s, man. That man died from a heart attack. Man, my little homie, little Richie, died from a heart attack. Man, that nigga was 27. 27 years old, man. Man had a heart attack, bro. Nah, and it wasn't no COVID vaccine either. For those who own that there, it wasn't none of that. Because this man died in 2012. You know what I'm talking about? That man died in 2012, man. Straight like that. That man died in 2012, bro. I already know, man. I just tell him, man. Brother used to come around here, man. He just had a stroke. One of my homeboys just died. You know what I'm saying? It definitely look here, man. That John wild, man. That a homegirl we went to school with. She died about 3 years ago. She wasn't number 41. Another one of our homegirls died probably about 4. She was like 38. You know what I'm saying? They died from natural causes, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know specifically what maladies they had, but they died from natural causes, man. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Lil E died. That nigga was about 38, 39. Shoot, man, it's been a matter of fact, it's a year. This month, my nigga Maurice died. He just died last February. And then his stepdaddy died 2 months later. You know what I'm talking about? Slow, man. So, a year ago. So, you know what I'm talking about? So, man, you just gotta take stuff seriously, man. Take your salvation seriously. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate people while you got them. Stop walking around here thinking you know they're going to be here tomorrow or the next day or the next year. When the book tell you, say, Lord will, this, that, there, and the third. Because, boy, you'll be here. And, boy, nigga be at your funeral, boy. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know who told you that you was going to be 70, 80 years old. Because ain't nobody told you that. You told yourself that. And you might have been, what that boy said, you might be a fat face on life. You know what I'm talking about? Because God ain't told you that. He ain't told you that. And you got to keep that in mind. You make all these plans, and the only thing you ain't planning on is making sure your soul right. You planning on your career, you planning on a trip, you planning on all this other stuff. You ain't planning to make sure you had that Ruach HaKodesh when you come up out that grave, though. You ain't planned on that because you always thought you had time to shoot. You know what I'm talking about? And play around. And because the only thing you really was concerned with was filling your personal desires and the things that you want to do in your life. But you say saving your soul was your number one thing, but you kept putting that on the back burner for any and everything else. And you're going to lift up your eyes in hell and wonder why you there. And you ain't going to be there because you was just necessarily so evil. You wasn't diligent and consistent and disciplined enough in your service to God to get what it is that you say that you desire. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Man, you gotta want this more than air, man. This thing got to permeate through your blood, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be hungry like the werewolf of London. This got to be the only thing. I mean, the only thing that matter. All this other stuff, vanity, man. Yeah, that stuff cool. You do what you do. But at the end of the day, man, that's not nothing because that's not going to waste away. You're going to die and leave it to another man. You know what I'm talking about? And like Solomon said, you don't know if he's going to be a wise man or a fool. So it's all vanity. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter. It's going to perish away. But the word of Elohim abide forever. Now, you make your decision on what it is that you want. And how bad do you want it? Because there's a lot of people, this is just what they be doing, man. It's something just to do. It's cannon fodder. I tell you this all the time, but it's not no joke. You know what I'm talking about? Because, boy, when the lights go out, it's over. It's over. Now you're going to be judged for what you did in this body, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So if living forever is what you after, how diligent do you labor towards that? Do you put more planning on things of leisure and entertainment of this life than you do your soul? Then you're going to go to hell. Because he said where your treasure is, your heart will be also. So whatever it is that you value, that's where your inward man going to be at. I don't know what you value, but you do. You know what I'm talking about? And you better check yourself, because guess what? America going to fall one day. The word of God forever. You know what I'm saying? Russia going to fall one day. China going to fall one day. The nation of Israel, the secular nation of Israel, that's going to fall one day. Dollars, and when I say dollars, I'm talking about world currencies. They will vanish away and currencies will take their place. Buildings get built, buildings get destroyed. You know what I'm talking about? But the word of Yahuwah abide forever. So you better make sure that your priorities are in order. You know what I'm talking about? Because the man already told you. What profit a man if he gained the whole world and lose his soul? And everybody look at that, they think that's about riches. Man, that's not about riches. That's about getting all the desires of your heart. Everything that you want in this life. Read it for him, man. Matthew 16:27. I'm not your mom. You know who I am. Oh, I'm the real one? Come on.
For the Son of Man shall come in the esteem of his Abba with his Malachim, and then he shall reward him.
That's 24.
Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Lose it.
Whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Lose his life for whose sake?
For my sake.
That's it.
Shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
What will you give in exchange for your soul? This is how you know you can't sell your soul. What you see, what you realize is you're not selling your soul, you pledging your allegiance. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can't sell your soul. It's not your soul to sell. Because guess what? Ezekiel 18 tell you that all souls are mine. The soul that sin, it shall die. You can't sell your inward man. Satan can't buy your inward man. He don't have the currency to buy it. But what he's doing is he's offering you things for your allegiance. There's a difference. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I know, of course, we say selling your soul, just a normal framework. But I'm talking about specifically, scripturally, understanding-wise. You can't sell your soul. Didn't he just say, what can a man give in exchange for his soul? What can you give Satan for your soul? He can't give you nothing for it. And you notice from when you read it in Luke, when he offered him all the things, he said, this has been given in my hand to offer it to whom I will. That's not selling your soul. You just pledged your allegiance. You made a covenant for a couple trinkets. You want to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. That's your business. See, everybody gets so hammered up and upset about people making decisions for their own life. Shalom, 10K. Look here, man. Man, that's their business, bro. They've made their choice. I don't get upset with people about making choice. You can do whatever you want to do. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't have to co-sign it. I don't have to concur or agree with your conduct or your lifestyle, but I just genuinely don't care. You want to be a homosexual, then go be a homosexual then. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not going to be chasing you down about stop being a punk. Because if I done talked to you once, I done talked to you twice, I ain't talking to you no more. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all problem in life. You steady nag and browbeat people instead of leaving them alone once they've rejected what you said. What you still talking to them for? That means it ain't about the information, it's about you. It wasn't about their soul, it's about you. You didn't come with humility, you came full of pride. You can't enforce nobody to do or believe nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing but drop the word on you and slide. That's all you can do. You can be frustrated because the people don't love themselves. Because when you see Mashiach being mad because of the hardness of their hearts in Mark chapter 3, his anger was because he know these people are going to be destroyed and you don't love yourself. But at the end of the day, what can I do about it? This is the choice and decision that you have made. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to live with the consequences of the choices and decisions that you make. And that's what people's problem is. You want to make decisions, bad ones specifically, but be free from the consequences that come from bad decision making. No, that's not how that works. You can make whatever decision you want, but you don't get to decide how you get punished or the consequences thereof from your decision making. You don't get that option. You don't get to tell God how he should punish. You don't get to tell God who he can forgive. You don't get to do that. Once you made the decision to walk contrary, you have absolved yourself from any opportunity to do anything other than to beg for mercy if he so see fit to show it unto you. Most people don't realize that because you ain't never been in the kingdom where you're dealing with a man who has absolute power, who can do what he want to do. See, you living in America and you think everything's supposed to be equitable. Everything's supposed to be this when you dealing with rulership. Man, that's not how that works, man. King do what he want to do, how he want to do. He answers to no one. See, the Son of God answered to the Father. The Father don't answer to nobody. He can do what he want to do. But see, this is the beauty of the whole play. He do it according to the righteousness that he mandated from his own word. He won't go above it. He won't go below it. He gonna keep it a just weight and a just measure every time. And he gonna meet it exactly. You know what I'm saying? As it says, it's written, man. He said, you who are righteous. We the ones who done did folly. The same way Ezekiel say, hey, man, your ways ain't equal. He say, nah, my ways are equal. Your ways ain't equal. Because he said that in Ezekiel, how could a man who been righteous all this time trust in his righteousness and sin and he died, but a man who been wicked, he can repent, and if he never sin again, he can be saved, because that's what's right. What you mean, nigga? You mean because you thought you was doing good for 15 years, you could trust in that and go slay all these hoes? Oh, that's what you thought you could do? Or you thought you could go commit a murder real quick and say, well, I trust in my righteousness, he'll forgive me? No, you going to hell, blood. ASAP. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about as soon as possible. I don't see nothing wrong with that judgment, personally. But again, I was taught and instructed a little differently, that you have to accept responsibility for the consequences of your actions. You can't be trying to play the victim. It's not if everything is always other people's fault, it's you. It's you. And what you're doing is you're trying to play the victim to get sympathy, to skirt accountability for the fact that you are a poor decision maker. You know what I'm talking about? Or that you just flat out evil. See, you can sell that to somebody else. I wasn't buying that before the word. I wasn't buying that in my teens. I wasn't buying that in my 20s. I came in the word just shy of turning 29 years old. I ain't never went for that one. You know what I'm talking about? It's always everybody else's fault. Never yours. Nigga, you full of crap. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about with human interactions, man. Even like I said, you can have something go wrong and you could be explaining to me, hey, this is how it went wrong. You're taking accountability, you're just laying it out like, I probably should have did it like this or did it like that and went like this. Because some people, you're making any excuses. No, this man clearly has a level of self-awareness where he can look back and see what things went wrong. That means he would know what not to do if he was ever faced with that situation again. See, we talking about, oh man, these people, man, you know the white man, you know my manager, you know these people. Nah, bro, it's always everybody, bro. Come on, man. It's always the devil, huh? The devil busy, huh? He working. That's all you, champ. That's all you. Come on with it, blood. What we at? What I was looking for? I done forgot. Where you at?
I just read Matthew 16.
And yeah, that's good. Where we was at before that? I'm sorry.
1 Corinthians 15.
Yeah, I'm looking for something else. Give me Romans 15 and 1 for the moment.
Say, we then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak,
Mm-hmm.
and not to please ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. For even a Mashak pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach you fell on me.
Now listen, we're dealing with him being the weaker vessel. Now we read in Hebrews 2 that he became flesh. So how does he show honor unto the weaker vessel? How did he do this to the son? Because remember, I'm rehashing something we didn't dealt with it before. Go read Genesis 3:16 again. Let me crank this up a notch because I went on a tangent a little longer than I intended and I forgot what we were going to do. I'm sorry. I apologize. Donna for Jay. Come on with it.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow.
Pause. I'll multiply your what?
Your sorrow.
And what else?
Your conception.
And your what?
Your conception.
And what else?
In sorrow you shall bring forth children.
And sorrow you shall bring forth what?
Children.
And what else?
And your desire to your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Again, we talk about this. That desire is a longing and craving. I want to read something in Philippians real fast. Y'all know what it is. Philippians 1. What is it? Philippians 1 and bump it 12, man. Because Paul's in prison, like we read, Jeremiah being in prison. We can read as Mashiach coming out of prison, prepared to go to the grave. You know, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Abba, into your hands I commit my ruach. Abba, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know, some people tell you, oh, that's not written in there. Whether it is or whether it ain't, we can justify it in the law because that would be Leviticus chapter 4, the sacrifices made out of ignorance. You know what I'm talking about? That's it. You know, everybody want to argue all these different things. We talked about it plenty of time before, man. Man, giving esteem to the Son ain't taking nothing from the Father because that's the Father's desire. He literally, when he tell you all things were made by him and for him, people don't understand that the Father, man, set this up, man, this is for my boy. I'm doing all this for my boy. I'll come through on the back end, but this for my boy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you don't, as a man, if you don't have a son, you don't understand that thought process. Everything you're doing it to give it to your son. Remember in the prodigal son parable, that's what he said. He said, son, you know all this stuff I got, this yours. What's good with you yet to die? This yours, baby. Come on, man, let's ride. I'm crazy out here.
But you should understand, brethren, that the things which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel.
Everything he said that happened to him happened so the gospel could be pushed. Do you not realize all the suffering that happened to Mashiach is so that the word could be fulfilled, so the Basar could be pushed, that the good tidings could be published? We could go for days on that. That's what Isaiah 28 talking about. Who will he give the good news to? Not to you niggas. Go ahead.
So that my bonds and the Mashiach are manifest in all the palace and all other. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Mm-hmm. Some indeed preach Mashiach,
even of strife,
of envy and strife, and some also of
that's something you had to realize, man. Some people will preach a Mashiach strictly for the purposes of contention, and some will preach it strictly for the purposes of goodwill for the saving of the soul. But look what Paul said.
The one preacher Mashiach of contention, not sincerely.
Not what?
Sincerely.
Supposing.
To add affliction to my bonds.
But the other.
Of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel.
He say what then?
Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Mashiach is preached. And I therein do rejoice.
Paul said, I don't care how they do it. The Lord get preached, I'm happy about it. Yeah. I'm joyful about it. Let me say that.
And will rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayers.
That's right.
And the supply of the Ruach of Yahushua HaMashiach.
What else?
According to my earnest expectation and hope that in nothing I shall be ashamed.
But with all
boldness,
as always.
Now also Hamashiach shall be magnified in my body.
Whether it be by life
or by death.
For me to live
it's Hamashiach,
and to die,
is gain.
Most people don't have that mindset, man. Do you know the level of faith you have to know that for you to die, that's gain for you? He say, for me to live, that's Mashiach, but I gain something if I die. Most of us know that you are living to die, but how many people are willing to die so they can live? Not many, because you're born to die. You know what I'm talking about? You live your whole life to die. But when will you make the conscious decision to say that I'm willing to die so I may live? Because that's what the Son of God did. And that's what he's imploring you to do when he tells you to take up your stake daily and follow him. When he's imploring you to be born again. Because that which is of the flesh is flesh. And that which is of the ruach is ruach. You know what I'm talking about? How many people are willing to die so they can live? Most people who dealing with this word don't want to die so they can live. That's why he say, he that loses life for my sake, he will keep it. That means you willing to die to the world. You willing to die to sin. You willing to die to your desires. You willing to die to folly, contention, and strife. All type of foolishness and folly. So do you genuinely have a longing and craving for? See, when you long and crave for your husband, you desire to be with him. This is what Paul telling you here, man. Listen to what he's finna say. But if I live
in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor.
So he said, this is the product of what I'm doing because I'm preaching word out here. Yet,
what I shall choose, I know not.
For I am straight
betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with myself,
which is what?
Far better.
Nevertheless,
to abide in the flesh, more needful for you.
See, he was sitting there, he understood something. For him personally, it's better for me to go at rest and be with God, but it would be selfish because it's better for me to be alive so I can edify you. See, this is a man who had died so he could live. So he had a grasping and of understanding of the thought process of what that means, man. Most people don't ever get to that point because you're too inherently selfish. And what do I mean by inherently selfish? Your desire is not to your husband. Your desire is to yourself. Remember, love seek not our own. The only thing you seeking is how to fulfill your own will. You ain't never seeking how to fulfill your husband's will. That's why you don't show honor unto you as the weaker vessel, because you're not useful to your husband, because nothing you do benefits the vision of your husband. Everything you doing is benefiting your vision. That means you're a piss poor wife. Why would he show honor unto you? Oh man, my God, today. People want to hear that. Because people want to be justified in their doings. A wife that's useful to her husband will always be honored. Why wouldn't she? And see, when people hear that, all that means is that you have a longing and craving for this man, and you locked in to the vision that he had for his life on the natural side of things. That means what type of time he on, I'm on it too. So any and every way that I can be useful to be a benefit to him in the furtherance of what it is that he has set his heart to do, that's what, no, I'm not, I don't have a competing vision. I got my own goals and own dreams. That's fine, but you can't be a wife to that man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to find a man that's what he wants. But if you want to be married to Yahuwah, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It can't, because if you remember what the man said, right? Get me Matthew 6 and 22. I'll let him tell it too. Indeed, Derek. Indeed.
So the light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light.
Full of light.
But if your eye be evil, your whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters.
No man can do what?
Serve two masters.
No man can do what?
Serve two masters.
Lest he should.
For he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and mammon.
You can't have two people in no union, and they serving two different rules. Tell them what masters is, man. You can't do that. You can do that, but the thing is, you're not gonna get the result that you think should come about from that. Because you can do whatever you want. The question that is always going to be, what type of result are you after? And then one thing you have to understand, Sonny, we live in a different time. I know Mama Steph and Mother Sharona speak to this here. The women of the time period that they were raised in, they're not the same as the women of this particular generation. Most of the women of this particular generation have no desire to be a wife in any capacity. Most people think being a wife is just cooking and cleaning. That's not being a wife. Unfortunately, very low-level men have dropped what a wife is to just cooking and cleaning, and that's why people think that's what that is. If you as a man are satisfied with a woman's ability to cook or clean, then, sir, someone has failed you throughout the entirety of your adolescence to adulthood to think that's what makes a wife, because whores cook and clean. I tell y'all all the time, I'm talking about stomp down, dirty leg whores. You understand what I'm telling you? I'm talking about prostitutes cook and clean, bro. Like, what does that mean? Why are you impressed by that? Why is that the determining factor in your life to say that this woman's a wife? If this woman is not even, if she doesn't have a desire for you, if she has no desire to be useful to anything you got going on, if she is not willing to dedicate herself to the goal of the family, bro, you ain't got yourself nothing but a warm body. That's all you got. You ain't got nothing. And I say that when you look at Yahuwah, you think Yahuwah care about that type of stuff? Oh, you think, because you don't eat no pork and you show up on the Sabbath, that's good for me? You remember about the wicked and slothful servant, right? Remember he gave everybody a talent? And when he came back, what did he say that servant did? That man went over to the man and said, you weren't useful to me. You weren't useful to me. Let's look at it. Because I'm good in Philippians. Now, I'm going to show you how he showed honor to the weaker vessels in this Matthew, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Ain't that what he did? Okay. Why he did it, Sid? Because those people were useful to him. Now, I ain't telling you, if you think this just is about women, then that's unfortunate for you. I don't know what to do for you. You know what I'm talking about? Because we talking way past that, baby. Way past that. We want to start this in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. Go ahead, blood. 4.
The kingdom of Shamayim is as a man traveling into a far country who called his own servants.
Called his own who?
Servants.
And did what?
Delivered unto them his goods.
And unto one,
he gave 5 talents.
To another,
2.
And to another,
1.
To every man,
according to his several ability.
According to his several what?
Ability.
Several what?
Ability.
Tell him what several ability is. Now, of course, you know this is dealing with the offices in the body, if you would. That goes back to what we went over this before. You know, this is the 1 Corinthians 12. This is the Romans 12. One body, many members, different offices. Go ahead.
Several is idios, pertaining to oneself, one's own, belonging to oneself.
Mm-hmm.
And ability is dynamos, that is strength, power, ability, inherent power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature, or which a person or thing exerts and puts forward.
And in that brings several ability according to the gifts of which is given by the Spirit, according to the measure of faith meted unto each individual. Everybody don't do the same thing. Everybody don't have the same ability. The people's biggest problem in this particular vocation, from my estimation, is everybody worrying about the gift that somebody else got. Why you worry about what somebody else got? Is it about who's doing what, or is it about the mission? See, of course, those in the military understand, or those who play sports understand. When it's about the mission, everybody has defined orders. Everybody has a defined job, because the goal is the fulfilling of the mission. When one person gets out of line and seeks to do their own thing, it can ruin the entire mission. A lot of people's problem is you want to do your own thing, because in reality, you don't care about the mission. You're selfish and you're more concerned with yourself. You want the esteem and praise for yourself. It's about the mission. You know, we talked about that Wednesday. It's about the result. Not who gets the praise, the esteem, and the honor. That man say he'll exalt you in due time. That's right. Say we only strong as our weakest link. And that's why the book say we give more honor to our less comely parts than the other one. That's what he said in Corinthians. See, that's what a team does. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. We're not going to sit back, oh, this nigga, this, that, there, and the third. That's wrong attitude. Because it's about division. That's why I say those that are strong ought to support the weak. Because you would not see them as, you would see their weakness as a weakness that could be in you or was in you, and your only desire is to strengthen him and cover that weakness for him until what was a weakness for him is now a strength, and he no longer needs to lean on you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing that the Lord did, because we read it while you were yet without strength. Hamashiach died for the ungodly. So if the Lord could do that, you mean you can't do that? He says, so for someone watching and learning, what would be an example of a gift? Oh, we went over that. I mean, that man, the gifts are simply, some get a gift of faith, some wisdom, some exhortation. You know what I'm saying? Some are prophets, some are apostles, some do miracles. Some do have help. Some, like, literally a gift of the Spirit can literally be administering aid to another person. You know what I'm saying? It could literally be serving somebody. It could literally be like, okay, I'm in such and such city. Hey, man, Mother Sharona needs somebody to go to the grocery store and get the groceries for her because she can't get out there and go. I'm finna go do that for her. That's literally a gift of the Spirit, because that helps. Like, it's really that simple. You know what I'm saying? One of the gifts of the Spirit is literally kindness. It can literally be speaking a kind word. Like, it's not as complex, and I'm not saying that you're saying it is. It's not as complex as individuals would like for us to believe that it is. You know what I'm saying? It's really as straightforward and simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, say it need $120 for his light bill. Everybody get together and do that there. That's it. Because remember, he that lend unto the poor, show pity unto the poor, lend unto Yahuwah. He that give to the poor, give to his maker. You know what I'm talking about? So this goes back to what we were talking about Wednesday. So when you take these things in account, these are elements of Yahuwah's character. And if his spirit is in you and you in his spirit, this is a manifestation of that gift. Like, it literally say that, like, wisdom is a gift. Faith is the biggest gift you can get. Everybody want all these other stuff when you really should be desiring the gift of faith. That's why Paul say right at the end of 1 Corinthians 13. That's right. When right at the end of 1 Corinthians 13, right? Listen what this man say. You stay where you at. In 1 Corinthians 13, right, he ends. Well, 14:1, I'm sorry. Follow after love and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that you may prophesy. He said, man, out of everything that you should be able to gift you should want, he said you should want the ability to edify your brethren so they could be comforted by the word, man. Listen what he say right here, right? In 13:8, love never fails, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail, whether there be tongues, they shall cease, whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, we prophesy in part, but that which is perfect is come, and that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall even know as I'm also known. Now abide faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Why is love the greatest? Because Elohim is love. And is a manifestation of the gift of his spirit. Like one of the, Shalom, Sister Ro, one of the things that we do is make this thing way more difficult than it need to be. Because we want these great demonstrations. You want to do miracles. You want to speak in tongues. You want to do this. You want to do that. And all these things you want to do don't benefit nobody but you. Don't nobody desire anything that would benefit the whole. Remember when Solomon said he asked for what? Wisdom to know how to do judgment so he could benefit the whole. That's why Yahuwah hit him off with everything he hit him off with. Because he was more concerned of how can I add value to everybody? How can I be of service to everybody? How can I benefit everybody? not just me. You know what I'm saying? That's a mind we got to have. But come on, read me verse 16, Matthew 25. We on track, but we off track at the same time. Hold on. He said, what would be an example of someone in the word being unfaithful? I'm glad you asked that. He's about to read that, good sir. Go ahead.
Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents.
And likewise,
he that had received 2, he also gained other 2.
But he that received the 1
went and digged in the earth.
And he did what?
Hid his Lord's money.
After a long time,
the Lord of those servants come and reckon with them. And so he that received 5 talents came and brought other 5
saying,
talents.
Lord,
you delivered unto me 5 talents.
Behold,
I have gained beside them 5 talents more.
His Lord said unto him,
well done, you good and faithful servant.
Boom. He said what?
Well done, you good and faithful servant.
One thing, and we're going to read Luke 12 also. One thing that makes you a good and faithful servant is you have a desire to be useful to your husband. One of the things that make you an unfaithful servant is when you have no desire to be useful to your husband. Now you're going to see he's going to show honor to the weaker vessels because these are his servants. Therefore, they are a weaker vessel to him. But because they were useful to their husband, according to that definition that's in Peter, he showed honor unto them. So, you know, when you look at this, we see that passage and we make it want to be this here, but it simply served as this. And we've talked about this before. Man, if your wife coming through and she's doing everything you asked her to do, why wouldn't you give her proper honor and respect? If you didn't, you a buster. Like it's something mentally and emotionally and spiritually wrong with you. Now, I'm only mentioning this because Jimmy was telling me the day he was going off on his baby mom. You know how he. But I'm going to be real, though. He came and hit me up later. He said, pray for me, man. And then when they talk about it, I say, bro, you know why you feel? Say, I just feel bad. I say, because you know you was wrong. I say, all it takes as a man is just to call and say, you know what? I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. But what he was frustrated on is he asked her to do a certain thing, and she did what she wanted to do and not what he asked her to do. And then she told him, see, you ungrateful. See, this is how people mind work. See, and I told him, I said, she did what Saul did. Because Yahuwah told Saul to do one thing, and Saul did another thing, and said, I fulfilled the will of Yahuwah, and was shocked when Yahuwah was pissed with him. You didn't feel the will of Yahuwah. You did what you wanted to do, not what I told you to do. And you feel like that I should be grateful for what you brought me, even though that's not what I told you to do. One of the biggest mistakes is, I know he said this, but let me do that. Don't never do that. Don't never do that if that's not what they asked you to do. Now, the only way that you should do something like that is if you are able to greatly enhance. So if they gave you $500 and told you to do this with it, and you seen a way instead of getting $650 to get $1,300, yeah, I don't think they're gonna be upset with that. But if you did it and then you didn't get back to $650, you only got back $550 because you felt like you should have did it like this. You didn't fulfill their will. You're not useful to this individual because that is not what I told you to do. You know what I'm saying? You can't serve people and then tell them how you gonna serve them when they give you instructions. You can, but you gonna get booted out. Shalom, Sister Kelly. You're gonna get booted out. You ain't got to like it, but it just goes to show that most people have an abhorrence for authority, order, and structure. You want to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Or you feel like you smarter than the people who are in authority over you. But see, here's the thing: when you think you smarter, it's easy to think you smarter than the people who got authority over you when you don't want to be the one to carry the burden of the responsibility of that authority. You just want to sit back in your Barker lounger and make assessments and judgments about what they could do and what you should do. That's not being a leader. That's a coward. Because if you think you better than them, you take the responsibility and the pressure and you do it day in and day out. It's real easy to say what somebody should do when you don't want nothing to do with the responsibility and the burden of what they're doing. You go do it then. Let's see how you handle it. Let's see what you got to do when you got to perform even when you don't feel like it. See, people love to have authority when they can have it when it's benefit them. Nobody wants to have authority when things are bad. Nobody wants to have authority when there's turbulence and you got to steer the ship through the rain, the wind, and the waves. You just want to steer the ship when it's sunny outside. You know what I'm talking about? And the waves are nice and calm. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, everybody love that. Oh, this is what he should have did. Well, if you know better than him, how about you do it? See, we were talking about that earlier, right? Not in this here, but this I was telling, man, I done told y'all that plenty of times. See, I know how people live, man. People stress you out. You know what I'm talking about? I've been told y'all, I refuse. Y'all not gonna stress me out. Y'all niggas not finna give me no stroke, no heart attack, no none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get a certain, if you will, people will do it. You'll be in your grave, and they'll still be doing the same junk they was doing. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't finna let nobody put me in my grave. Damn sure ain't. You ain't finna stress me. I don't care. I don't care. I ain't supposed to do nothing. I ain't supposed to let you kill me. I ain't supposed to let you stress me out. That's why Moses ain't getting the land. The people were stressing him out. You know what I'm talking about? And usually people, when they're not in any type of authority, they don't care about stressing people out. They don't care. Because I'm telling you, people sit back, do all that, they'll be sad about you for 24 to 48 hours and go right back to their father. Shoot, man, you better be like Teddy Pendergrass. You know what Teddy Pendergrass told you to do, Sid? He said, I think you better let it go. Let it go. It's another love. TKO. Better let that thing go, boy. You know what I'm talking about? You better let that thing go, boy. When these people kill you out here, man, with no care, concern, or regard. Yeah, man, no care, concern, or regard, man. You know what I'm saying? When you in authority over something, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about stressing Moses hard, man. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, man, I don't care what situation it is, man. Like, people don't understand the burden of responsibility of leadership and authority until they're in it. You know what I'm saying? And when you in it, you should have a different level of appreciation for the people who do it. Because they can't just be thinking about themselves. They have to think about the overarching vision and everybody who's intertwined in it. A poor leader only think about itself. You know what I'm talking about? But come on with it, man.
Verse 21,
Matthew 25 and 21. Hey, Nolan.
Says, Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you rule over many things. Enter you into the joy of your Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, you delivered unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them.
His Lord said unto him,
well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I'll make you rule over many things. Enter you into the joy of your Lord.
Then he,
which had received the 1 talent, came and said, Lord, I knew that you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not strawed.
And I was afraid.
And went and hid your talent in the earth. Lo, there you have that is yours. His Lord answered and said unto him, you wicked and slothful servant,
you knew
that I reap where I sowed not,
and gather
where I have not strawed.
Remember how we read in Romans 12 Wednesday, he said, don't be slothful in business. When it comes to the service of the Lord, man, you can't be lazy, man. You a wicked and slothful servant. That man you're not useful to him. See, let me tell you something, man. I know this is the United States of America, and you get soul romance and all these type of stories and this type of deal, man, but we done went over this before, man. For lack of a better term, boy, Yahuwah definitely moved by that ism. Like, hey, he moved by being in a position of power with his woman, and his woman has to be a benefit or use to him, or he has no use for her, and he will get rid of her. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to agree with it. But if you examine this text, that's how that man operates. Anybody that is not useful to the furtherance of his vision is of no use to him. And it ain't got to be just no preaching and teaching, man. I'm talking about all the way around the board. Remember when we talked about lending to the poor Wednesday, we talked about, looking out for the fatherless, the widow, and the strangers. We talk about carrying the burden of your brother. Look at all that stuff is being useful to your husband, because he said, when you did it unto these, the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me. All of these things is about that. Man, it's bigger than just preaching some word, man. A preacher, see, that everybody look at the preacher as the main cog in the engine, but he ain't the main cog in the engine. The word is the main cog in the engine. He's just the dispenser of the word. But the people as a whole have to actually take hold to the word and manifest the word for the car to go. You know what I'm talking about? People just like the preacher because he the one who's seen, and people get caught up in cult of personality. A lot of people are man worshipers. And also a lot of men want to be worshiped. They don't understand what it is to be a servant. They don't have a desire to serve. They just want the esteem and praise of men. And you have to be able to identify that. The book tells you how to identify that. If you read all these things where he tell you the real from the fake and you still going for the fake, then guess whose fault is that? We want to act like all this stuff is a great mystery. The man done gave you the game. Go look through the book. He tell you how to tell the real from the fake, the authentic from the facsimile. He tell you, hey, you see this, that, there, and the third? Yeah, them my people. You see them do this, that, there, and the third? I don't fool with them. And you like, we don't know who God using and who he don't. Are you serious, bro? What type of father you think you got that he don't put you up on game how to recognize those of your own family? See, you looking for family from skin tone. You looking for family from facial features. He wants you to be able to identify his spirit. That when you see his spirit, you know that them your people. If you don't see no graciousness and long suffering, no gentleness, no goodness, no mercy, no forgiveness, then you know them not your people, blood. What is you talking about? See, you know, my people from California, right? And you know, out there in the Bay, that's where my mama was born at. And you know, and you know, back in the days in the 60s and 70s, what I'm saying, see now it has a different connotation because it's in reference to a street gang. But see, in the 60s and 70s, there's two terms that black people used to say all the time. They'd be like, what's up, blood? Meaning kinfolk. People deep in the South would say, what's up, kinfolk? Meaning that's family. So when you sit back and look at it, you can't identify those who are of the family of God, bro. You can't identify your own kind. When he say that the tree may give fruit after its own kind, whose seed is in itself, you don't know your own kind when you see them? You perplexed? That's a sad state of affairs, man. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't even saying that to be funny, man. In all seriousness, like, that's a sad state of affairs if you can't identify where the Spirit of God is present. Because it's not present in the amount of information that you can enumerate. Is present in the conduct and the movement and the behavior and the worship and the service of the individual. If there ain't no love and kindness, see, this is the thing, right? When we talk, it's easy to have love and kindness to your friends. Can you do it to your enemies? Can you do it to people you don't know? Can you do it to people who can't benefit you? Because that's what he was telling you when he said, hey, man, be you perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. Or you salute your brother. Or you only going to be kind, courteous, and righteous to your friends, huh? Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the only thing people want to do. But come on, Sid.
Verse 27.
Matthew 5 and 27. 25 and 27, I'm sorry.
So you ought therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he had. And cast you the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Listen, he was a slothful servant because he didn't want to be useful to his husband. Is what it is.
What he wanted.
So he didn't get any honor. But you see, the other ones got honor. Come on now, Luke 12. We didn't even got to the other part with the father showing honor to the weaker vessel with the son. But we'll get all three. We tie them all in. We go the direction the Lord takes it, man. It is what it is. Luke 12 and 41. Oh, that's what you like right there. A bubbly burst. That sounds kind of fun.
Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speak you this parable unto us, or even to all? Mm-hmm. And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward?
Hold on, Paul. Give me 35. We can read all of it. Ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Luke
12:35. Come on.
Let your loins be girded about, and your lights burning, and you yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he comes.
You say you need to let your loins be what?
Be girded.
And your lights what?
Burning.
Man, don't let nobody put that candle out, man. Consider. Go ahead.
And you yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding.
Blessed.
That when he come and knock, that they may open him immediately.
Blessed.
Those servants whom the Lord, when he comes, shall find watching.
You know, this just came to my mind, right? And that's in that same, Matthew 25, when they talk about, these niggas think that parable of 10 virgins about you getting multiple women, bro. You understand how stupid these niggas is, man? They don't even realize that that parable is about a group of people who was ready for their husband and a group of people who what? They think this about, see, he had 10 virgins. Look, you was an idiot, bro. You missed the whole point because you thinking with your wee-wee, you jackass. I mean that sincerely. You know what I'm talking about? Because he said, what the women told them? They said, we ain't got no oil in our lamp. What the women said? Go to them that sell. Go to them that sell.
We sure we ain't gonna have enough.
If we give you some, what we gonna have? Man, they were about people who did what they were supposed to do, ready for God to come back, versus those who didn't. Now you see he finna come. Now you want to try to get yourself together. No, you finna go to hell, cuz. This ain't about you having 4 or 5 women. What's wrong with you? You niggas is common freaks. That just came to my mind. Hold on. When you was reading 37. See, listen to what he say right here. I'm gonna just read this on the back end of Matthew 25, right? With that parable, right? It says literally, you had 5 wise and 5 foolish. The foolish took their lamps, ain't had no oil in them. You already know, if you know the word well enough, you know the oil represented the ruach, so they ain't had no faith in them. But 5 of them did. 5 of them did. Then the foolish said, give us oil so as our lamps are gone out, because you didn't have your light burning. And he say, and if the eye be full of light, then it be full of light. But if it be dark, remember, read it in Matthew 6, you're going to hell. That's all it means, because if you ain't got no light in you, Elohim is light, and no part darkness, that means God is not in you and you are not in him. You have a problem. Then it said, you write this here. Say, don't be enough for us, lest we go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Buy the truth and sell it not. Go to them who got the word and go get it from them. I can't give it to you. That's not my job. So and while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came and they were ready, went in and went to the marriage. The door was shut. After came the other virgins, say, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, truly, I say unto you, I know you not. So you see what that's about? That's not about how many wives you could get. That's those who were ready and those who weren't. Now you coming back later talking about, let me in. He said, I don't know you, man. Why you knocking on my door? Who are you? I don't know you. Listen, but them 10 virgins knew he was coming. That means he knew them. So this were those who prepared for their God to come back, and those were those who don't. This ain't got nothing to do about how many wives you can get. He said, can the example of gifts be seen in Exodus? It does. Absolutely, Yedadiah. Absolutely. That's a whole nother conversation, but it definitely does. So does that go with? Now that one go with be ready. Because you know not what hour your Lord cometh, which is about what we're about to read in Luke in a moment. And he actually ends with that. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour when the son of Adam comes. That's about being prepared. You know what I'm saying? Not wasting time, what I mentioned earlier, not dilly-dallying around thinking I got till tomorrow or I got till this here, because our lives are not but a vapor. So you need to be ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Ain't that what the people tell you? A lot of people not ready. You got all these broods talking about, I can't wait till the Lord come back. I can't wait till the Lord come back. You don't want that man to come back around here. Yeah, I got you, Sister Rose. Hold on. They don't want that man to come back around here because they're not ready. They're not ready. These people just talking. These people not ready for this man to come around that corner. Here go the live link there, and you can go from there, I suppose. Well, dang, I can put it at the top, can't I? I put the link at the top, Sister Rose. Yeah, you could just go to the channel from there. Oh, you good. You good. You good. You ain't interrupt now. You good. That's right, Omar. Absolutely. Come on with it, bud. Yeah, I ain't mentioned that aim and fire. He said, it's like when a man run from a bear and a lion meet him. They are darkness and gloominess. Yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man. Got to be ready. If you say this is what you want to do, come on with it, bud.
Verse 37.
Luke 12 and 37.
Said, Baruch are those servants whom the Lord, when he comes, shall find watching. Truly I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them.
No, it should be good, Eric. I appreciate you, bro.
And will come forth and serve them. And if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch and find so, Baruch are those servants.
Pause. Now I have to refresh your memories. What's this first, second, and third watch? Who can tell me what he said? If he shall come in the second watch or the third, well, he say, well, what is it at? Blessed are those servants when the Lord come, he'll find them watching. I say unto you, he'll gird himself. And then the second and the third watch. What that mean? What that point to? What that talking about? That's right, Mother Sharona. That's one of them. That's verse 37. Verse 37 is Passover, unleavened bread. That is correct, Nick. That's correct, Mother Sharona. FOT is fine. You ain't got to spell it out. Shoot, I know what you're talking about. Now, how is this the case? If you deal with what you did at the first watch is they were waiting and watching. That's right, Darius. They were waiting and watching in regards to having the witness to the resurrection of the dead. When you look at the second watch being Pentecost, it's dealing with the aspect of the giving of the Ruach HaKodesh. When you're dealing with the third watch, which is Tabernacles, that's ingathering or the gathering of the people unto him. Now, of course, the first two watches have passed. You know what I'm saying? So now you want to be prepared for the third watch, which is Tabernacles. You know what I'm talking about? I know, like it's here, right? You don't know the day, but you know he coming back during Tabernacles. Those are 3 feasts that every man must appear. You know what I'm talking about? He's already appeared on unleavened bread. He's already appeared on Pentecost. And it's the last one he got to appear for. Because all men must appear. And guess what they can't do, Civic?
Come empty-handed.
Come empty-handed. And he ain't coming empty-handed. He ain't coming empty-handed. See, a lot of people say he's returning extremely soon. I would say to someone who says that they're grossly misinformed. You say that's why we should be. Indeed, Sister Rose, absolutely. But how can I put this? Teaching is not as endearing to the masses as arguing is, because most people don't want to learn; they want to be entertained. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. Even when you deal with secular things, with like some of these goofy red pill dudes, when they do shows about empowering yourself as a man, physically, financially, mentally, things of this sort, they don't get any views. But when they put them women on there and they going back and forth with them women and this, that, there, and the third, everybody watches. Now, this is something I learned long before I was in the Word. We talked about it plenty of times. People like drama. And when I say drama, I'm not talking about drama in the sense that people refer to drama. People like contention. They like the strife. They like the back and forth. For whatever reason, people are extremely entertained by such things. That's why shows like Love and Hip Hop and Real Housewives, even though they may be scripted, you know what I'm talking about? This is why these shows did so well and they kept producing them, because people like to watch controversy. That's what people are enamored by. The average individual does not have the desire to learn. They don't want to learn. Learning is boring. They don't want to read. They don't want to study. If it's not anything that directly benefits their own desire to make some money, most people don't care to learn anything. There are very few people on this earth that, and I'm going to use some natural terms, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? There's very few people on this earth that are truly academics. There are very few people on this earth that are truly intellectual. There are very few people on earth that are truly Renaissance men and women who just have a strong desire to learn certain things that they have a high interest in. Most people only have a desire to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about this before, that it's not by accident, that is by design. It's a social engineering ploy, because the more you're entertained, the more mentally and emotionally docile you are, and you will not have the ability to think your way out of a paper bag, and you can be manipulated, and the society can be steered and turned in whatever direction that they want to steer it in. They can give you information, as false as it may be, for you to construct a mindset and a mentality that you think is genuine of your own, that you pass off to your children, while these people continue to rule over you. You know what I'm saying? These people do not like the free flow of information. When I'm talking about the free flow for information, I'm talking about information that could literally be taken and empower others to be a better version of themselves, so they can pass it to their offspring. You know what I'm saying? This rabble rousing that people do on the internet, and the reality of that, they don't care, because you're really not a threat. You're just virtue signaling and running your mouth. You know what I'm saying? But when you have the ability to take this and actually affect the minds of a large group of people, where you can shift their mentality, more specifically a community of which you dwell, you are a very dangerous individual, and they will get you out of the way. Because the last thing they want to do is for people to think. But people don't want to think, because I want to go to the movies. I want to go see Beyonce. And I want to go watch the game. I don't want to read a book. I don't care about what happened during the Renaissance period. Who cares what happened in ancient Mesopotamia? Who cares what happened in ancient Israel? Who cared what happened? I don't care about that. Why should I know what the Constitution says? Why should I be concerned with stock markets? Why should I be? I don't care about that. And then you see the result. So it is what it is. So it took a lot for me to stop being engrossed watching Love and Hip Hop franchise. Oh, I mean, I'm not mad at anybody who watches, hey, man, you may get to a certain point where, this don't do it for you. And then, say how you saying that. Some people like to watch Fresh and Fit, other shows like that, to see the women go back and forth. More people who watch Kevin Samuel, they didn't watch Kevin Samuel because he had insightful points. They liked when he clowned on the women who called in, because it was entertaining. Whether people thought the fact of he was being harsh or mean, is entertaining, because people want to be entertained. And there's nothing wrong if you want to be entertained. There's something wrong when you want to be entertained all the time. There's something wrong when entertainment takes a precedent over education. And I ain't talking about no schoolhouse education, because if you wait on Mr. Charlie to teach you, you already backed up in the brain. Say it's frustrating to see people fight and act up all the time. I understand. Look at, man, when I was in jail and in prison, man, first thing people want to do is they see somebody fight, they want to run over them. You know how many fights I seen in prison and kept on walking? I don't know, them people ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't get entertained from niggas throwing hands. But then sometimes you might see one boy bumping good, and you sit back and say, well, shoot, I'm going to take this one out. The same way you watch two grown men fight for millions of dollars in the middle of a boxing ring. You know what I'm talking about? You say it's a part of programming, being that the thought things are better now than the have. Yeah, man, this ain't no knock on nothing, man. It's for you to have perspective.
Still talk on the phone. This nigga's fighting right next to me.
Plenty of times. I like watching the challenge when people have. Yeah, I mean, and guess what? You have people say, "Oh, these games are rigged." Man, let me tell you something. You're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation, whether it's the NFL, whether it's the NBA, whether it's Major League Baseball. And if you've been living in America long enough, you would know that people with billions and billions of dollars are not going to leave certain things to chance, because the thing they care about more than anything is money. They don't care about a genuine competition of a sporting event. You teach about, look, they're registered as an entertainment company, not a sports company. Of course they're, but you don't even know that. Why that's the case, just on the legal side of things. See, I only know this because I watch wrestling. See, in the late 80s or early 90s, You know what I'm saying? When Vince McMahon got caught up in the steroid thing, he had to admit that wrestling was fake and listed it as an entertainment company, so he wouldn't have to go through the sports state commissions and the rules that are pertained in that. But you know, most of us, you don't do business in sports to know the things that are caught up with those things and why these people want to avoid that. Most people don't know that the NFL is trust exempt. You know what I'm talking about? And the things that go along with that, because you're too young to remember the lawsuits, that the antitrust lawsuits that were brought against them when Paul Tagliabue was the NFL commissioner, and how they fought against that, and how, because they are exempt from these things, this allows them to make dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar, because the only thing that these people care about is money. You know what I'm saying? That's all they care about. You care about the thrill of competition and this, that, there, and the third. Many people selling you a dream. Hold on, let me find the link for that. Let me show you this. I had to see if it probably has to put it in the chat. Hold on. With the antitrust, man. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. See, it just said here that in June of 2024, a California jury awarded plaintiffs $4.8 billion in an antitrust class action lawsuit against the NFL. I think as that pertained to Sunday Ticket, because they got sued for that in an antitrust ruling. Because the NFL, there it is. The NFL has an antitrust exemption. It comes from a lawsuit of Radovich versus the National Football League. It ruled that professional football, unlike professional baseball, was subject to antitrust laws. This was the third such case heard by the Supreme Court in the 1950s. While the NFL has secured some limited antitrust exemptions since through the legislative process, the lack of blanket exemption due to this decision has made a major impact on the subsequent history of football. The NFL has faced several competing leagues since then. One merged, seen 5 of its franchises move to new cities. Many of these actions have accompanied lawsuits brought against the NFL, often successful by competing leagues, public. And basically what this means is that antitrust is dealing with the fact of you're not allowed legally to have monopolies in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be like that legally. Whatever. And the NFL has it. That's why there's no competing leagues against these leagues. Like, you're supposed to pay attention to that. Like when we say, well, why the brothers don't make their own league? They could make their own league, but the NFL would destroy them because you're not going to have the same benefits of the law that they have. I'm trying to find more plain language in this lawsuit. But it basically gives them the right to just stamp out. That's what it says. Since the court ruling means professional football is covered under antitrust law, the NFL has faced a number of competing leagues and lawsuits it would otherwise not be subject to. What does that mean? The people can do whatever they want. You know what I'm talking about? They can do whatever they want. Who's going to stop them? You know what I'm saying? So if they quote unquote wanted to rig a game, then it's rigged. You know what I'm talking about? What you gonna do about it? You know what you gonna do about it? Turn in next week. You know what I'm talking about? Crying about how it's rigged. I don't want to hear that stupid behind John, nigga. Watch the junk or don't watch it. Go ahead, man. Oh, we finished with that. No, we ain't finished with that. We are in
Luke 12.
Luke 12 and 38. BA, what's happening with your blood?
And if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch and find so, Baruch are those servants. And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through. Be you therefore ready also, for the Son of Man come at the hour when you think not.
You got to be ready, baby. Come on.
Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speak you this parable unto us or even to all? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward?
The Lord.
Shall make ruler over his household.
To give him what?
Their portion of meat in due season.
Blessed is the servant.
Whom his Lord, when he comes, shall find so doing.
Of a truth I say unto you.
That he will make him ruler over all that he has.
But if that servant say in his heart.
My Lord delays coming.
This is what they did in the law with Moses when they say, man, we don't know what becoming in Moses, man. He taking too long. What he said they do if he delay his coming and shall begin to do what?
Beat the men servants and maidens.
And to eat.
And drink. And to be drunk.
Ain't that's what your forefathers did in the wilderness? They ate and drank and rose up to play because they said, oh, he delayed his coming. They weren't a faithful and wise steward. They weren't useful to their husband. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't show honor to those weaker vessels. You know who he did show honor to? Joshua and Caleb. He showed honor to those weaker vessels because they were useful to their husband. Like, that's what that means when you're looking at this person. Again, if you gave your wife 10 tasks to do and your wife completed those 10 tasks and you didn't show honor unto her, you a buster, bro. You a real deal sucker. That woman is worthy of her hire. She's worthy of that reverence and honor. She's fulfilled your will. She's been useful unto you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Oh, for sure, BA. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? Like, that's man, that's gay. Not gay as in homosexual, but gay as in lame. You are a certified sucker because Yahuwah don't operate like that. He showed honor unto every weaker vessel. So when Peter is telling you to show honor unto the weaker vessel, he's telling you what your God has already done. He's telling you what the Father did to his own son. Because when the son who sacrificed an offering you did not desire, but a body you have made for me, and he said, you will not suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. He said, I lay down my life, no man take it from me, and I pick it up again. He showed honor. He said it would behoove him to be made like unto his brethren according to the flesh, not after the nature of Malachim, but of the seed of Abraham. He literally, remember, he said the first one was sown in weakness. Flesh is weaker than spirit. And he took that on. And then to fulfill the will of his Father so that he may able to ransom you from the power of the grave, that he could be the kinsman redeemer to buy you back from death, he showed honor unto his son who was the weaker vessel in this instance and rose him from the dead and gave him power in heaven and on earth and under the earth and all that would come on him to make him the sons of God. And you mean to tell me you can't show that same honor and respect to your wife when she fulfilled everything that you ask of her? You a buster. You know what I'm talking about? You a sucker. You wicked as hell. You a disgrace and abomination before God. You know what I'm talking about? And ain't no way around that. There's no way around that. You're not going to be able to scoot out of that scenario because your God held that standard. And if he held that standard, what you going to be able to say? Not nary word. Come on, good sir.
The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he look not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder.
Cut him asunder.
And will put him his portion with the unbelievers.
And that's what happened in Exodus when he say, who's on Yahuwah's side? And then he say, take with the sword and do what? They cut him asunder and they got their portion with the unbelievers. He's just telling you what the law already told you. Because you can see this in the law. Go ahead.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes.
You know, and you could look at that as those who got bit by that serpent. You say, but he that knew not
and did commit things worthy of stripes,
he will be beaten with a few.
For unto whomsoever much is given,
much is
required.
And to whom men have committed much,
of him they will ask the more.
So guess what? If you know what to do and you don't do it, well, you're going to hell, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? He say, I'm going to chastise those who you knew the Lord's will, but you didn't prepare yourself. You didn't do according to his will. I'm going to tighten you up a little bit. If you didn't know, I'm going to tighten you up a small bit. But you who knew and say, oh, nah, man, I'm killing you. You know what that sound like? He that sinned willfully. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no more sacrifice for sin. Because you knew what you were doing, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's certain things, man, you know what you be doing, bro. But you trying to play games. But let me get to the first point that we started. We ain't holding nothing else. I didn't believe so. Let's get to the Genesis 3:16 with this childbirth. Before you do that, give me 1 Timothy 2:13. Someone came up under my post. Yeah, I seen that there. I don't even know why you responded to him. I could tell he was trying to be antagonistic, but it looked like he sweeted in some coffee from Starbucks, man. I don't even know why you said something to him. Sometimes you got to look at a profile picture and look like that boy like you know what I'm saying? He might like to do some things he ought not to be doing. I ain't even saying that to be funny. I sincerely look like, but it looked kind of sweet. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean he is sweet, but he looks sweet. You know, sodomitism was emanating off his face. You know somebody look bad when you can see the sissy jumping off the photograph. You know what I'm talking about? And he ain't trying to be sissified in the photograph. You just see pump. But all jokes aside, a lot of people who hold the Christian persuasion, a lot of them just want to be antagonistic with their views because that's how they're trained. You know what I'm saying? They're trained that when they see certain perspectives or beliefs espoused, they're trained to go on a long, drawn-out monologue of what they believe and how what they believe is superior to everyone else's. Because that's how they taught to do that. And that's why many of them are grossly ineffective at converting anyone, because they're just douchebags. You know what I'm saying? And most Israelites ain't too far away from them with the same type of training and behavior. Like, you're a douche. And nobody wants to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You're an uptight, sanctimonious a-hole. You know what I'm saying? You think that you know more than everybody, and you're not talking to people, you're talking down to them. Then on top of that, you don't even have enough skill to say, okay, if this is the perspective they come in, let me communicate to them in a way that they can relate, that they can receive my message. Because it's more about, see, I'm superior in my information than conveying and relaying the message and making sure that the audience understands what you're saying, even if they don't agree with it. Because these people are in the wrong business. And you know how we know they're in the wrong business? Because the Spirit of God don't reside in people who behave like that, because Yahuwah is result oriented. Now, he knows full well that most people will reject his message and his mission, but he sends men. If he say, man, I'm going to make you fishers of men, anybody who's really fished. Now, I'm not a fisherman of any sort. You know what I'm talking about? But I grew up with some, and they have explained to me the skill that it takes to catch certain fish in certain areas of water and certain places in time. It's just a skill to it. You know what I'm saying? So when you see him, I'm going to make you fishermen of men. I'm going to give you the skill to ability to catch fish. These niggas ain't got no skill. These are probably the same dudes when they were in high school. They probably used the same tired lines over and over again to every woman they ran up on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got no finesse, man. And I ain't talking about finesse as forth as being deceitful. Because, you know, by definition, manipulation just means a strong persuasion. Now, you can manipulate for good and you can manipulate for evil. It's not the fact that if individuals is manipulating, it's the intent behind their manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm trying to persuade you to do good, would you call that evil manipulation? Because in 2 Corinthians, Paul said, hey, man, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. He told you to be harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent. I mean, you want to have some skill to be persuasive in your argumentation. See, but most people here manipulate because people are manipulating you to do evil or to exploit you. You know what I'm saying? See, it's not necessarily the word per se, it's the intent behind someone's behavior and their words. You know what I'm saying? And you should know when someone's trying to manipulate you for wrong, because it will always be something that takes from you. When someone is trying to manipulate you, aka persuade you to do good, guess what the one thing they won't be doing? What you think that is, Steve? What's the one thing y'all think, if someone's trying to manipulate you for good, what's the one thing they won't be doing? That actually is the direct opposite of what the individual who's manipulating you for evil would be doing. Dang, I gave you alley-oop. I already gave the answer.
Ain't gonna lie.
No, that ain't it. I'll allow it though, but that ain't it. When somebody is seeking to manipulate you for good, they won't be taking from you, they will be adding to you. You know what I'm saying? There it is, Sister Virginia. When somebody is manipulating you for evil, they're going to be taking from you. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to replenish you at all because their objective is to extract whatever it is that they're seeking to extract. When someone is persuading you to do good, they're not going to take anything from you. They're only going to add. Because their persuasion is not to take anything from you, it's to persuade you to do better so that you can be better for yourself. A wicked manipulator is always whatever that they're trying to take. And it could be whatever it is. It's not mutually exclusive to one thing. That's how you know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Someone who's trying to persuade you for good, what they're not gaining anything. They're not going to get anything out of that. But when somebody manipulating you for bad, you end up getting screwed. Figuratively and literally. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to be on guard for that. You know what I'm saying? Most people are on guard for that, and that's how they get caught up. You know what I'm saying? Come on with it, man.
Verse 22 and 13.
Yes, sir.
Say, for Adam was first formed, then Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
She shall be saved in what?
In childbearing.
If she continue.
In faith and charity, and Kadash with sobriety.
That's right. If she continue in what?
In faith and charity, and Kadash with sobriety.
That's right. Let's go ahead and read Genesis 3 and 16 one more time. And then we'll go to Isaiah 66 and 6.
And it said, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow.
Multiply your sorrow.
And your conception. And sorrow you shall bring forth children.
Sorrow you're going to bring forth children.
And your desire to your husband.
And he will
rule over you.
Okay, Isaiah 60. Now, in order to sit back, and I told you this before, and the Father did it with the Son. If a woman has brought forth your seed to term and has expelled the fruit of her womb and the replication of your DNA, there should be a level of respect that you should hold for that woman as long as there's breath in your lungs, because she was willing to risk her life in order to replicate your DNA. Now, my dog posted something a couple weeks ago, something that we done discussed several times that people don't like to hear. And I'm gonna give you the back half before I give you the first half of his statement. The back half was that every woman ain't a wife. Some of y'all are concubines, and that is a fact. You know what I'm talking about? But then the other one was every man don't deserve to have no child. Now I know a lot of dudes don't like to hear that because they just hoes, but every man does not. And you've heard me say this plenty of times. A lot of these niggas do not need to have their DNA replicated. There are a lot of dudes that a lot of women should absolutely deny access to their womb. This man should not have the opportunity to ejaculate in any woman's uterus at any time, because this nigga, we do not need another one of him on the earth. You know what I'm talking about? And I mean that sincerely. Only goofy niggas feel like we all should have kids. I don't know who told you that, because some of you whole niggas we don't need 2, 3 of you niggas. You know what I'm saying? All it's going to do is it can increase the whole nigga population on the earth. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't need no more whole niggas on the earth. We are full. We want to get rid of the whole niggas who here now. And when I say that, I'm not saying that in the aspect because these people are feminine. I'm saying that in the aspect because they are duplicitous. I'm saying that in the aspect because they are evil. I'm saying that in the aspect because they are manipulative. I'm saying that in the aspect because they are selfish abusers and users. Some of them are mentally weak and will seek to destroy anyone, everyone who they come across because they daddy a sucker. Now, whether y'all realize it or not, sucker nigga mentality can be passed on from generation to generation. There are some people who come from a long line of hoe niggas. You go look at his background, it's a bunch of busters. You go look at some people's background and you see strong men. That doesn't necessarily mean that these men were indiscriminately wealthy, super successful, but they were men of integrity and honor and respect. Long line of it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. Now, you do have some men who come from a long line of man whores. But that's another conversation. Let's not gonna act like that ain't out there. Because it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, every man don't need to have his DNA replicated. And then I say that because that's why your Father in heaven is very, very selective of who he give his seed to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't pay attention. Hold on, Cindy. Luke 8 and 10. Read it to him. I'll do Isaiah 66. Luke 8 and 10, listen to what it says.
And he said unto you, it is given to know the mysteries of the Malkuth of Elohim, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of Elohim.
The parable is what?
Is this: the seed is the word of Elohim.
The parable is what?
The seed is the word of Elohim.
So if the seed is the word, and what do you need in order to impregnate a woman? Sid?
Seed.
Now he told you that a steward must be found faithful. Now read read John 6 and 44. Now, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, right? Mm-hmm. In the beginning was the what?
It's the word.
And the word was who? Was with who? And the word was. See, a lot of people don't realize this one here, right? If the word is Elohim, that means the word of God is God. Not as it's God in personage, but it's representative of who he is and what he's about. And if he calls his son the word, like a lot of people get caught up in a lot of terms because they caught up really in doctrines of men. See, let me tell you something, right? Why we don't participate in this. A Godhead conversation is doctrines of men. You know how you know it's doctrines of men? Because you talk about, I'm a Trinitarian. That's a doctrine of man. I'm oneness. That's a doctrine of man. I'm biotarian, whatever it is. I can't pronounce it. That's a doctrine of man. All these, I'm a modalist. That's a doctrine of man. That's all that is. Because y'all came up with this. Like, there was a Godhead discussion in Grand Rising this week. And you know what's funny? I didn't get a chance because I was working. But everybody mentions 1 John 5 and 7. And they think that's a Trinitarian conversation. You know why they think it's a Trinity conversation? Because they're idiots. You know why they're idiots? Because they don't know God. You know why they don't know God? Because they don't seek after God. They sought after their church fathers. You know what I'm saying? And you know why? Because this man said clearly there are three that bear record where, Stevie? The Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh, and these three are one. You know what I'm supposed to tell you? He said in your law, out the mouth of what? The matter is what? So if these three agree on one, that means they meet in agreement, bearing witness to the same thing. The Father bear witness to this. The Son bear witness to this. The Ruach HaKodesh was in the prophets who by their ministry use similitudes, bear witness to this. They're all saying the same thing. They agree in one. This ain't got nothing to do with no personage and the God. You made that up, nigga. You made that up. All this is my testimony is in heaven and my record is on high. John 16 and 19. He said, there's one that bear witness of me. I have greater witness than John. Because right after in that 1 John chapter 5, about verse 9, he said, if we have the witness of God, the witness of God is greater than the witness of man. That's all that 1 John 5, 7 to whatever is talking about. It's about the bearing witness to the testimony, the witness of the Son of God. And this is why this man is selective on who he give his seed to. Now, he told you there's a parable of the sword. He let the seed go where it may, but it don't fertilize every womb, a.k.a. every lab, every heart. He don't give his seed to everybody. What does that mean? As a man, you should be very selective on who you give your seed to. I don't care how pretty she is. Okay, her skin is flawless. Oh, she's got a nice shape, but she is a despicable human being. You're not paying attention to any of that. Okay, baby, you should be very selective on whose fruit of the womb you bring forth. Okay, he handsome. Oh, he got a nice physique. This nigga lazy though. He got an anger problem though. He's selfish though. Don't let that little tingle in your loins get you tied up with a buster. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people's problem is. You thinking with your loins. If you picking a spouse based off your loins and because you enjoy leisure activities, you're going to have a very difficult time in life because you're probably going to get impregnated or impregnate the wrong individual and be miserable for an extended period of time. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's one thing when we made these mistakes when we were younger, because these conversations ain't for most of us. We grown. But you got children, though. So you've experienced a lot of things so they wouldn't have to. So you should use very much plainness of speech and communicating to them, not just don't do something, but shoot, baby, don't do X, Y, Z, and this is why. And shoot, and I can tell you from personal experience, and let me tell you what happened to me when I did X, Y, Z. You know what you do when you do that? Number one, you humanize yourself to your children. So now they can take you off this pedestal and see you as a human being. A human being that is privy to making bad decisions just like anybody else. And you can be honest and real enough to say, son, this is what I did in this type of situation. This is how it worked out for me. Let me tell you why I made the decision that I made and how I can explain to you, son, how it's not a good decision based off the consequences that I suffered from that decision. That's if you want to be a real nigga. Now, if you just want to walk around and so your kids can have this false illusion that you're the greatest person to ever walk the earth, and you don't want to give them the requisite wisdom and understanding so that they can. Yeah, you. Always for not for her. She knows gonna come, and not be able to know that. Okay, man, Pop's giving me the game. Mom Duke's giving me the game. Because they're more concerned with me being successful in life and not having to experience certain things that they experienced because they went through that for me. They didn't even know they were going through that for me when they went through it, but that's what happened. So I can be a better version of them since I'm a replication of their DNA. So when you see that and he gave you power to become the sons of God, it's allowing you to. He took on the flesh so that, he told you that you weren't redeemed from the vain conduct of your fathers with corruptible things like silver and gold. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come and grab you out of that right there based off of the that he made those mistakes, but he came to course correct those mistakes to perfect you so that you could be a better version of those who came before you. You see the greatness of your God in this aspect. This is the way that he raises his children. This is the way that he instructs. He don't move how man moves. And when you pay attention to his workings, then you can actually replicate that in your life and see the same thing. But most of us, we're not hearing the word in this fashion because all these niggas want to do is argue and fight about doctrines of men. See, I had two documents. I wanted to read one. I had them pulled up. I had the other one read it. Mom Steph had put it in what's the name, and she sent me another one. But like, why do One West Israelites call whites Edomites and Chinese Moabites? This was published on October 2019. Let me make sure. I thought I put the other one in my files. Let me make sure. Hold on, that's my next workout. So that's definitely not it. There it is. Black Hebrew Israelites by Michael T. Miller. I thought I put it in the group chat. I probably didn't. When was this book published? This book was published, it seems to be in 2024. And we're probably going to go through some of the things that he wrote in there just for you can see a perspective, because we still need to do the thing with the stuff she sent me a while back that we ain't got to with the New Testament. We'll probably do that when we finish with this. Just to see these people's viewpoints and perspectives, because a lot of people like, I don't call myself a Hebrew Israelite because people look at, man, who gives a damn? Let me tell you something, man. What a nigga on the corner do, why you care about it? How that got anything to do with how that make? If a person has made a decision to look at you a particular type of way, that ain't got nothing to do with you. So if you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna judge you based off those guys who be screaming on the corner. All right, you know what your response would be? Okay, what that mean to me? They ain't got nothing to do with me. If you want to do that, then that's a personal problem for you. It shows a lack of maturity. You know what I'm talking about? It shows a lack of any type of mental capacity whatsoever. And I'm okay with that because I don't need your validation, nor do I have anything to prove to you. That's our problem. You want validation from everybody. You want to prove something to everybody. Oh, I don't care. I remember, I think it was Faithful to God. It was somebody. They was like, prove you a Hebrew Israelite. I say, prove it to you for what? What benefit am I going to get out of that from having this discourse with you? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got to prove nothing to you, nigga. Who is you? Like the fact that you thought that you were so important that I needed to prove something to you, tell me that you's a whole nigga, not no nigga that I need to be conversing with. You know what I'm saying? Because nigga, who is you? Like, I'm not being funny. Like, I literally like, nigga, who is you, bro? Who are you? I don't got to prove nothing to you, nigga. Who is you to me? Let me tell you something, man. I don't walk around feeling like I need to prove nothing to nobody who ain't hired me to do no job. You know what I'm talking about? Because straight up and down, I don't feel the need to prove nothing to nobody. Now, what I mean by that, okay, see, right now I'm doing a job. So guess what? If it was certain things that you say, I need proof for your ministry, I owe you that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, I ain't even being funny. Like, I owe you that because I'm performing a job. So I do owe you that. If you are a continual customer, I owe you that. Hey, if you was a new customer, I owe you that. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? I got a wife. When it pertains to certain things, when it pertains to her, I owe her that. You know what I'm talking about? When I got people, man, and they hire us for a job, when it comes to certain things, guess what? I owe them that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real talk, man. Like, not even being funny. But you talking about a conversation about, oh, you got to prove it. I ain't got to prove nothing to you, bro. You're not that important. Because for me to want to prove something to you, that means that I'm hinging on your validation. You should only seek validation from two places. From the Almighty Elohim, Abin Shamim, Bahashem Yahushua HaMashiach, and yourself. That's it. You know what I'm talking about? You need to be Yahuwah validated and self-validated. You don't need nobody else validation. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't care if it was your husband, your wife, whoever. When it comes to certain things, you should, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I definitely don't need no validation from some fake Bible scholar teacher on the internet. You got to be out your rabbit mind, boy. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember that because a lot of these dudes be pushing and probing. They don't really want no debate or no conversation. I ain't even need to say debate. These people don't want no conversation about what you believe or the perspective on why you believe what you believe. They really want you to seek their validation. And I'm just not going to do it. Because, nigga, who is you? You're going to have to stand before the same throne of judgment I'm going to stand for. You going in the same earth I'm going in. You know what I'm talking about? What is you talking about? You got to be crazy. John 6:44. Make it 43.
So Yahushua therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Abba which hath sent me.
No man can come to me except the what?
The Abba which hath sent me, draw him.
You see how he very so if just go ahead and read it. Psalm 65:4, and then come right back. I mean, if no man can't come to him except he draw him, and then he finna tell you Baruch to whom Yahuwah have chosen, I mean, that man's very selective on who he give his seed to. Go ahead. Psalm 65.
Say, Baruch is the man whom you choose and calls to approach unto you that he may dwell in your courts.
He say, blessed is the man whom he chooses. And that means, guess what? I can't draw you to the Lord. I can't. All I can do is bring forth the word, and guess who do the drawing? I guess you know. And if he draw you to him, that means he found you worthy of his seed. He would like to, for lack of a better term, procreate with you. He would like for the ability to leave his seed, aka the word of Elohim, that it could dwell in your inward parts and bring forth the fruit of the womb, aka in this instance, the Ruach HaKodesh, so that, go ahead and read them, Galatians 5 and 19. So, well, 5 and 20. I don't want to read about the works of the flesh. I don't care to read that. At this present time, that's not relevant to what we're discussing. Or is it 21? 5 and 21.
It's really 22. We'll start with the fruits.
Galatians 5 and 22. Listen to it.
But the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, shalom,
peace,
long suffering,
slow to anger,
gentleness,
goodness,
faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
So there's no law. That means there's no death if you perform those things. So when this man allows his seed to enter into your heart and you would understand it, and with patience, this is the fruit you bring forth. You know what I'm talking about? This would be akin to the fruit of the womb. That man is not finished. That man ain't trying to procreate with everybody, because everybody's not worthy of his seed. A lot of young men ain't told that from a young age, like, hey, man, you got to value your seed, bro. You got to value your seed. There's a lot of things that young men should be taught, and that's definitely should be in the top 5. Is to value your seed, bro. Stop putting your penis in every woman you see, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I am a firm believer in this. I lived my entire adolescence and adult life with this. But if you would not make her a wife, why would you make her a mother? If she ain't worthy enough to be your wife, bro, you shouldn't even sleep with her, to be 100% honest with you. Why would you even have sex with her, bro? Like, straight up and down. Now, I can't tell you what to do, because you're going to do what you want to do. But I tell you this here, word or not, bro, if you can't see that woman being your wife, bro, why would you have children with this woman, man? That means you don't value your seed. All you was looking for was the pleasure that you could get at the releasing of your seed. You overvalue pleasure and undervalue the most precious thing that you possess, and that is your seed, cuz. Your seed is literal life force. That's a part of you, man. You know what I'm talking about? Now, see, the conversation with women, it's the same thing. Baby, if you couldn't see that man as your husband, why would you have his children? Why would you allow this man to ejaculate in you and impregnate you? You didn't value your womb. You didn't really realize how precious it was. You didn't understand the fact you was finna put your life on the line for a man that you ain't even like that. For a little bit of pleasure. It's not that serious. You know what I'm talking about? That's word or not. And the word is that serious because you could go to hell. But that's just on the natural side of things. Man, it's not that serious. If pleasure mean that much to you, your priorities are askew, to say the least. You know what I'm talking about? It's not that serious, bro. It's not that serious. When you pleasure driven, you'll always end up mating with the wrong people, because you're driven by what feels good. What feels good is temporary, but the consequences last a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? And you don't never realize that until you're in the middle of those consequences. And that's when it go back to what we were talking about earlier. Now you want to play the victim. Now it's everybody's fault. No. That's all you. You know what I'm saying? Take that one on the chin, man. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, take that right hook, uppercut, overhand. You know what I'm saying? Straight jab. Just go ahead and take that punch, man. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you make a better decision next time. You know what I'm saying? Or it may not be no next time based on the consequence, because you never know, because the sentence against the evil work isn't executed speedily, it's privily in the hearts of the sons of Adam to do evil. A lot of people don't realize how merciful you who is because you do wicked stuff. He don't kill you right then and there on the spot. So then that embolden you in your mind. You could do it again. But hey, Isaiah 66:6. It says a voice. Isaiah 66:6. A voice of noise from the city. A voice from the temple. A voice of Yahuwah that rendered recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Give me Isaiah 26:14. Make it 12. Matter of fact, tell me what 7 is like. We might not need what we need, but tell me what 7.
Say the way of the just is uprightness.
No, that's good. Go to 14. I got you in 26. Not bad. It's 27. It's 20. Let me look and see. I'm tripping. I think it's because I'm tired. Yeah. We good. 26 and 14 is good.
They are dead, they shall not live. They are deceased, they shall not rise. Therefore have you visited and destroyed them and made all their memory to perish.
Go ahead.
You have increased the nation, O Yahuwah.
That's right.
You have increased the nation. You are esteemed. You had removed it far unto all the ends of the earth.
Yahuwah.
In trouble have they visited you. They poured out a prayer when your chastening was upon them.
Ain't that what Yahushua did when his chastening was upon him? Did he pour out a prayer? My God, today. Come on. Like as a woman with what?
With child.
Like a woman is what?
With child.
Draw near.
The time of her delivery.
Is in what?
Pain.
And cry out.
In her pangs. So have we been in your sight, O Yahuwah?
And did not Yahushua, like a woman with child, drawing near the time of her delivery, cry out in his pain? Tell them what delivery means now. Yeah, man. Look, you know, I would tell y'all, when I go to talk about certain stuff like that, man, that's for us to talk to the churn, man. You know what I'm saying? Just talk to the churn, man. Give them an opportunity to not necessarily make the decisions that you made. Some of y'all know some of the stuff you was privy to when you was in middle school and high school in your early 20s. You know what I'm saying? You look back on it now and you see how bad them choices was. You want your children to go, you know, black people always feel like they just want the kids to learn the hard way. I don't know why niggas feel like we should listen. They need to learn it the hard. They need to learn it how I learned it. You evil bastard. What you mean they need to learn it? You want them to destroy their life? Because you destroyed yours? That joint, man, it make a lot of sense. You don't love your kids. Come on, man.
That is Yalad, to bear.
To bear. Now to bring forth. Listen to it now. Now listen to verse 18.
We have been with child.
We've been in what?
In pain.
We has it as it brought forth.
When?
We ain't wrote know what?
Any deliverance in the earth.
Neither have the inhabitants
of the world fallen.
And your dead men
shall live.
With what?
My dead body shall they arise.
Awake and sing.
You that dwell in dust. For you do as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead.
Tell them what dead men and dead body is. You want to see a dead body? That was your favorite movie right now.
Dead is moved, to die, killed, to have one executed.
Now we know move is the word for death. Body just ain't death.
Oh no. I read the first one. Dead body is Nebalah, a carcass, a corpse of humans, idols, or animals.
Carcass. Corpse. So he told you, your dead men, well, dead or move shall live. This man that told you death shall kai or live with his carcass, his body, and there arise. His body that's dead. So when we come back to Isaiah 66, and I'm in verse 8, he said, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause to bring forth, saith Yahuwah? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut, saith your Elohim? Now they added womb. Now for those of you who've been around when it says, shall he not shut the womb, to the law and to the testimony? Why does it say that? Where would you validate that at? That he would not shut the womb? Got to see if you remember. Like Michael Jackson said, do you remember the time when you fell in love? Do you remember? My baby. If nobody have it, we're going to keep it pushing, because I'm almost at my time. Meaning I don't have a plethora of things to keep stacking on top of this for this evening, to just keep on going for the sake of going.
When he had his side pierced, he never closed them.
Yes. So let's take a look at Genesis 2:20. For those who are not familiar. Brother Ernest said Abraham and Sarah. Not in this instance. This is dealing with the first and the second Adam. When he's saying that should he bring forth and not shut the womb. So let's take a look.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
He closed up the what?
Closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Now, what does Eve name mean? What did he say when he named her Eve? What that meant?
The mother of all
the mother of all living. In this instance, remember, male and female created he them. Mashiach gonna come and fulfill both ends of the spectrum, male and female, Adam and Eve. This is why he quote unquote gives birth. Now you go to John chapter 19 and verse 30. And then after that, John chapter 20 and verse 25. We're going to look at that before we proceed. Just bringing certain things to some of y'all remember. And if you had never heard it, something new. Because I don't remember what this video stuff is in. Just saying that made me think about, I don't even know if that's on that video, when we was out there with them boys and from GMS and told Buddy that, and he said, oh man, he went under the earth. And he literally did that in the most, and at the time, like it wasn't funny to me at the time because I really wasn't focused. Like I heard him say it, but I didn't hear him say it because I wasn't really locked in. But later on, that junk was funny. Because what it was is we seen it click in his brain. You know what I'm saying? It made sense to him. Say the birth of the children of Elohim through sacrifice out of side came out blood and water. Well, you add a little bit extra to it, but shoot, it's really a bit more straightforward than that.
When Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, it is finished, and he bowed his head and gave up the ruach. The Yahudim therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the stake on the Shabbat day, that Shabbat day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him. But when they came to Yahushua and saw that he was dead already, they broke not his legs. But one of the soldiers with the spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. And he that saw.
Now, of course, you mentioned in the blood and water, because we're talking about any woman here who's ever given birth. You know that blood and water came out forthwith. Go ahead.
And he that saw it bear record, and his record is true, and he know that he said true, that you might believe. For these things were done.
That's good. Now you notice he was pierced in his side. Out came he. Let's see if he closed it. John 20 and 25. Because Adam's side was closed, but the Lord's side wasn't closed. See, the issue is not that it wasn't closed, is why didn't he close it? See, these are not the questions that people ask. Why isn't it closed? Why did it remain open? What's the purpose of that? Go ahead.
The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands and the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I would not believe. And after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, Shalom unto you.
Shalom, baby.
Then saith he to Thomas, reach here your finger, behold my hands. Reach here your hand, and thrust it into my side.
Thrust it where?
Into my side.
Thrusted where?
Into my side. Be not faithless.
But what?
Believing.
So that means if he told him to thrust his hand in his side, get what that means? It was still open. You know why it was still open? So he could continually bring forth. Now, why are we reading? Because he said, I will multiply your sorrows. And read it again, because I'm about to say it wrong. Genesis 3:16. Now, I'm mentioning this here because it says, show honor unto the weaker vessel. And one of the curses, remember, this man bore every curse that's in this book, not just the curses that pertain to men. See, niggas is idiots. So, and I say that as humbly as possible. As if this man is not going to extend some level of mercy, care, and compassion to women is absolutely retarded. Now, we're not saying this is for his pandering purposes. We're saying this in the point of that's just real nigga activity. What type of God you think he is, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, be for real. Be for real, man. Now, I do have my thought processes. We've discussed it plenty of time before. Why some of these dudes have a lot of angst towards the opposite gender. In my personal opinion, I believe that it's from some type of frailty either done to them by their mother or some woman that they were with whom they held in high regard. And now they have... I believe that these men were more than likely emotionally attached to some woman at one particular time. That's why I told you I don't believe in falling in love. I don't believe in emotional attachments. Those things are deleterious until the male mind. When that attachment is broken, this man can become very damaged and may never fully recover because unless he is given the proper skills and tools to recover from that. You know what I'm saying? Now, your mother doing damage to you is, and you know, on the internet, a lot of people throw that out there like loosely, like, oh, what did your mom, or the thought process of just because your mama was there, you should be happy because she was there, regardless of the reason why your father's there or not. I'm not here to discuss that because I don't know. But one thing I know, just because your mama there, that's not just so what you hear. If you are emasculating me, if you are mentally, emotionally abusing me, if you are physically abusing me, if you are disrespecting me on a day-to-day basis, if you are participating in foul behavior that I have witnessed from the time I was 5 until I'm 15, who gives a damn that you still here? You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about that. You know why? Because I didn't have a say-so in you or my father bumping your loins and causing friction to produce the pleasure receptive that would cause me to be here. So in reality, I don't owe you nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You can't sit back and say, you owe me your life. No, I don't. I didn't ask to be here. Your actions is what produced me to be here. And I'm just supposed to be happy, even though you treated me less than a human being. But where was your daddy at? I wish he would have came here and saved me from your wretched behind. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down. And I say this because I know people who this was their life. Do you know what I'm talking about? Now, so I don't look at it that way. Because I'm not here to debate, argue, or fight about what parent left and why they left. You know what I'm saying? That's not none of my business. But what I do know is you can't celebrate someone who mistreated you because of whatever reason, just because they maintained you. You know what I'm talking about? Because a lot of people maintain their children. They don't raise their children. There's a difference. Just because you kept a roof over their head and food in their belly and clothes on their back does not mean that you raised them. You maintained them. And you don't get an exponential amount of credit for maintaining a child because that was your responsibility. But to raise a child, you raise that child because you love them. You know what I'm talking about? And not everybody does that. Regardless, you know what I'm saying? That's why I would take, my mama loved me, man. So I would hope that you would love your children. Like straight up now. You've heard me say it plenty of times while she was still alive. I'm not finna be walking around. I'll never forget that when my maid was like, yeah, man, everybody got, nah, bro. That nigga got mad at me. He tried to argue me, tell me, "Mom, your mama did hurt." Nah, bro. I'm not finna sit here and lie on this woman, bro, to make you feel good because your mama treated you like such and such. My mama ain't do me like that, cuz. And I'm not finna say that to you so you can feel better about the fact that you had a traumatic experience with your parents. That's not my reality, brother. And my daddy ain't do nothing to me neither. You know what I'm talking about? So I ain't got nothing bad to say about that man. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because it's unfortunate that everybody has to believe that your parents had to do some type of damage to you, that we think that that's how it's supposed to be. That somebody saying, "Nah, man, my mama loved me, man." You think that's odd. Nigga, that should be the standard. Why would you think it's weird because somebody say, "No, no, no, my mama ain't do nothing to me, man"? "Oh, no, she had to." Nigga, what? Nah, bro, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But that's the world we live in, though. Well, people think it's weird when you say, "No, my people love me. I come from a loving environment." Does it mean it was a perfect environment? No, that's not what that means. You know what I'm saying? What it means is it was love in this house. You know what I'm saying? I was telling you that the other day, man. I told y'all this before. Boy, I wasn't raised with my daddy people, so I ain't know them like that. When my daddy died, and I was at his house, man, and all them relatives in there, and I was listening to them people talk and see how they interacted, seeing my cousin jump up like, "Kathy, you did this when my mama died." Like, cause they trying to commandeer and bogart how his funeral gonna go. And another cousin stood up and said, "Ain't no love in this house." And he left. I said, "I see why the Lord ain't had me around these people, man." You know what I'm saying? My other brother tells like, "Man, they dysfunctional. We just dysfunctional." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, this weird to me. To have a house full of people, y'all blood related, and you could feel the tension and lack of love, care, and concern for the majority of people in this house." Now, my mama's side of the family wasn't that big. Shoot, when I say wasn't that big, I can't even say that. It was infinitesimally small. But boy, everybody loved each other though. And I said, I'd rather have that. See, people say family over every bump all that. I would rather have 4 members of a family who love each other than 60 who just, oh, because we related, but don't nobody fool with each other for real. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want to be around that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring my children around that. You know what I'm saying? No, man, y'all don't love each other. Y'all need to stay over there. Because we don't do that over here. You know what I'm saying? I would rather my children never meet relatives who don't love each other. You know what I'm talking about? Than to meet them all and be stained from that type of wickedness, man. You don't want that type of junk around my children, man. At all. Like, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's no different than how you see people in the word, man. Whole bunch of people fellowship with each other. These niggas don't love each other for real. Y'all just here because you feel like you're supposed to be here. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be around that. When that man say, "If you love one another, this is how they know you my disciples." That's how I'd rather be. I say, nigga might have disagreement with you on some sucker stuff. You need to take your silly behind over here, man. You know what I'm saying? No, man, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm talking about? But let me see what you said, Mika. I seen it. I just didn't tap on it. Yes, we about to get to that. We're about to get to that. So what I just read? What you just read? I'm sorry.
You want me to read Genesis 3:16 again?
Read that one more time, yes.
Say, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception.
Notice he said, "I will multiply your sorrows and then your conception or your childbirth or your labor." We're not going to deal with the other part of it. You know what I'm saying? But think about that, though. When that man was on that stake, he greatly multiplied his sorrow in the midst of childbirth. See, he even used this scenario in John 16. Read me verse 20. What? 22? Make it 20.
Say, truly, truly, I say unto you that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. You shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow because her hour is come.
Pause. Didn't he say he was exceedingly sorrowful unto death because his hour was come? Go ahead.
But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remember no more the anguish.
And when he resurrected from the dead, did he remember his anguish?
For joy that a man is born into the world.
Was joy that a man is born into the world. Go ahead.
And you now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again.
Paul, that's good. He using this same scenario. He talking about himself. And of course, that's obvious. But then the aspect of Adam's hole is closed. The second Adam's hole is not. Why? For him to continually give birth. Matthew 27:50. Like I said, I always mention this when we read this verse for the most of the time, because I remember it was a brother, I don't think he believed in Mashiach no more. But I remember him saying, like, nobody ever explains what this verse means. And I was like, yeah, no sweat. You know what I'm saying? Light work, man. It's easy money. But I mentioned this thing because there's things in the New Testament that people can't explain. And they can't explain it because they don't believe. So they try to academically explain a concept that comes through the Ruach. You'll never be successful. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying that to denigrate these individuals. I'm saying that so that you can know that then when it comes to certain matters cannot be academically explained. Certain matters it's not your level of scholarship. It's going to take the Ruach of God for it. That is not to denigrate anything of academia or scholarship whatsoever. But you have to understand that Yahuwah is above scholarship. You know what I'm saying? He is not bound by those constraints and restraints. Those are the constraints and restraints of man. When you're dealing with him, he is past that. He has nothing to do with that. And you can't try to place him in that particular box because that's what your peer group is doing. You know what I'm talking about? See, when you're talking about dealing with the word from a scholastic sense, that's different because you would be doing that differently. When you're talking about edifying a group of people unto the words of salvation, unto life, scholarship can't come into play because that's not the same arena. But these niggas don't know how to separate those arenas because they want to be scholars so bad in order to validate themselves as being some great man in the eyesight of other men. Because contrary to popular belief, a lot of men do seek the validation and acceptance of other men the same way that a lot of women do it. It's in their peer groups. It's nothing different. Human beings are human beings. Can we say that when Adam was put in, yes, I wouldn't say died and rose again, though. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely look at giving birth for her coming out of him, but I wouldn't say he dies and rose again, though. Come on with it, man.
See, Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the Ruach, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept.
This is where you see your dead men rise with my dead body. You see who heard such a thing, who seen such a thing. Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Shall a nation be born at once? And as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Go ahead.
And came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the Kadash city and appeared unto many.
Now, we went through all this here because obviously he multiplied the sorrows and conception. Because at this point, he took on the likeness of sinful flesh and condemned sin in the flesh, who became sin, who knew no sin. So in doing this, he showed what? Honor unto the weaker vessel. Then on top of that, from your 1 Timothy 2:14, and I have to give you the abridged version. We've done a longer version of this in the past. If y'all willing, we can be able to come back around here. But when it said, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbirth if they continue in faith. Well, we know that obviously he would not suffer my Kadash one to see corruption. Obviously, Mashiach said, and I shall die and rise again the third day, and you shall see the son of Adam coming in the clouds in power. So he was delivered from the power of death through the faith. Then, of course, the love, because greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. Then, of course, he went about doing good, healing all those that were oppressed of the devil. Of course, you know that Elohim is love. So then when you deconstruct that even further, and it says Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, you can see the graciousness bestowed to the man who was had the palsy laying in his bed, or the woman who had the issue of blood, or the woman who was caught in adultery. And he said, woman, no man condemn you. I don't condemn you either. You know what I'm talking about? His whole ministry dealing with long suffering, because he brought wrath on no man. He showed mercy unto thousands. And then, of course, I will forgive them that you know not what they do. He forgave their sin and iniquity. So he was saved through the love of which he manifested. Then, of course, him being Kadash, and then gives me sobriety by definition. Good, sir, there. With the same Adam laid down. Yes, we've been over that before. Adam did lay his life down for his wife, and he actually became sin who knew no sin. Because love is strong as death, and if a man would give up everything he had for love, his house will be utterly contemned. I remember the first time we mentioned that on Clubhouse, these niggas lost their mind. And you know, a lot of these dudes, they be thinking with certain stuff when we converse with them that, oh, we just coming up with new stuff. I'm like, bro, we've been on this for 10 years. It's just new because you just hearing me say this to you right now. But, bro, we've been on that. And that's not out of no level or no pride, bro. We've been on that. That's y'all always looking for some new doctrine to fuss, fight, and argue about. Bro, we just going through the word to find the deep things of God, that our faith might be increased, and that if it be possible, according to the multitude of his mercies, that his Ruach HaKodesh could be sent down and dwell in us in it, and that we could live forever and dwell with our God in peace, joy, and righteousness, and live our life quietly. Simple as that. Go ahead, bro.
That's so frosune, soundness of mind, self-control, sobriety.
Discipline. And we know that this man did not commit any sin. So he saved him in childbirth because of the faith in the word, the love that he showed, the sanctification that he had, and the self-control that he possessed. Now, does this mean that every woman on earth was saved in childbearing because of that? No. They were saved in childbearing because Yahuwah is merciful. Now, we was having this conversation earlier, and I'm not going to go into depth because y'all know what I'm about to say about what I was going to do to them people in that hospital. But I told y'all this a couple weeks ago, man. And I always tell this more specifically to the men. Well, if your wife is pregnant, man, well, you need to make sure that you're there. And you need to make sure that you are educated as much as possible on what the birth plan is, and not allow these people to bully her. Because these people don't care about your wife, man. They don't care about her. And there's a reason why a lot of women die giving childbirth, and the reason why our women have a higher pain, and they're trying to medicate her into a stupor while she's in this excruciating pain, having no care or concern for her well-being. You know what I'm talking about? That's not a joke. That ain't nothing to be played with. Man, that woman got your baby in her, man. And then some people look at me crazy, but I done said this before. If it came down to a situation, if they was like, we could save your wife or save the baby. Well, save my wife then, nigga. That ain't even nothing to think about for me. You know what I'm saying? I know some people, no, save the baby. We can have another baby, cuz. We can have another baby. The baby is representative of the love that we have for each other. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm in a covenant with my wife. Nigga, save my wife, cuz. And I don't care what damn sucker hoe nigga got to say about it. You know what I'm talking about? You goddamn right. Just because you don't love your old lady, you know what I'm talking about? That's a personal problem with you. You know what I'm talking about? That's not my life, blood. Yeah, save my wife, cuz. Straight like that. You know what I'm talking about? Straight like that. Because if I ain't love her, I wouldn't have married her. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, you saved my wife. We could have another baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? We can have another baby. Don't get upset with me because your wife don't bring no value to your life, and you upset because you got her. That's a personal problem. Everybody don't got them problems you got, bro. That's what wrong with these dudes. They don't like their old lady. And they mad because they don't like their old lady, and they want you to feel like, well, why you like yours? Oh, you got to be a sucker. No, nigga. I wouldn't have married if I didn't like her. That means the problem is you be rushing, y'all be leaving the people. Man knows when he knows you should be married in 90 days. Man, you don't know nobody in 90 days, cuz. Nobody. Problem with a lot of people in this world is you get mad because people want to test and try your character to see what manner of person you is. People supposed to do that, man. You shouldn't be offended by that. There's too many evil people out here. There's too many people play too many games, man. People don't want to mess around and be like, man, I done let this nigga come in my life and they done did this, that, and the third. And this ain't even no romantic type stuff, man. I'm talking about this period. If God himself through the Apostle John tell you, try men if they have God or not. I mean, I done told you, if a dude say he a preacher, he a servant of God, and he get mad because you trying him to see if he a God or not, he ain't a God because nobody of God would care. You say you're reading a book now, The History of Doctors Treating Black Women Like That During Pregnancy. It's centuries long. It is, bro. And the reason why I say that, because if you really love that woman like that, then you goddamn right you finna go in there, hey, man, don't play with my old lady like that, cuz, man, what you got going on? You already know this woman is in excruciating pain. That's a level of pain that as a man, you ain't never gonna know what that pain feel like to be able, and you talking about to have cognizant thought to make certain decisions with that level of pain, bro. And the people take advantage of the fact that she in pain. You know what I'm saying? And you don't usually think right when you in pain, unless you've been trained to do that. And how many people been trained to do that? Say, as soon as them people start talking crazy, I had to pop out and show up. Just to tell us in the end, nothing was wrong. Yeah, you have to, bro. It's like straight them down, man. They don't fool with us like that in them hospitals. Shoot, they don't fool with nobody in them hospitals like that, but especially not us. So you have to do that. Same way the Lord is an advocate, you got to be an advocate. You have to stand up and speak on her behalf. All that's a part about showing honor to the weaker vessel. All that's a part of that. Now, of course, when we went through him giving birth and going through that weakness and going through that pain, and the Father rose him from the dead, showing honor to the weaker vessel, because he showed forth usefulness to his husband, because his desire was to his husband. And then he ruled over him. Remember, he said the son will rule, and then when the Father comes, everything's given into his hand, and he will rule over him. It's all the same work. And I took this direction because it's probably different than what some people would want you to take with this here, because, you know, they want you to just talk about man, woman, man, woman. No, we're talking about look at the operation of God or what he's telling you to do with Peter, and then you do likewise. You know what I'm saying? Because the son was useful, and his dead men living with his dead body, because he multiplied his sorrows and conception, and he brought forth to the birth. And because he was willing to not take on the nature of Malachim, but the likeness of flesh, to be made like unto the seed of Abraham. I can even say that in Isaiah 14. Come over to Isaiah 14. Because, you know, some people finna get upset when we tell them Lucifer ain't the devil, but it's okay. We got Bible and sources outside the Bible to back that up. Read verse 10 though.
Say, all they shall speak and say unto you, are you also become weak as we?
If you also become what?
Weak as we?
Not weak as we.
Or you become like unto us?
Pause. Now tell them what weak is, man. Now, where do you read what Satan has become like unto man?
That's Kalah. To be or become weak, to be or become sick, to be or become diseased.
To become sick, to be diseased. This is what he said. And they're asking, you become like one of us? You just read in Hebrews 2, he became like one of us. He became weak and diseased, because it read in Corinthians that flesh was sown in weakness. He became like one of us. Well, why did he become like one of us? For the purposes of the suffering of death, that he might destroy him that had power over death. That is the devil. And in doing so, the Father showed honor unto the weaker vessel. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? He said that you might be, hold on, I'm sorry. Right here in 1 Peter chapter 3. He says, so as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, is not the son the heir with the father? Did not they inherit the same thing? Doesn't read in Romans 8 and 14. After that, Timothy chapter 2, verse 10. Romans 8 and 14, listen to this. Mama Steph dropped one on them. I'll send it to you. The Origin of Satan by Eileen Pagels. That is an interesting last name. Pagels.
For as many as are led by the Ruach of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. For you have not received the Ruach of bondage again of fear, but you have received the Ruach of adoption. That's why we cry, Abba, Abba. Mm-hmm. The Ruach itself bear witness with our Ruach that we are the children of Elohim.
And
if children, then heirs.
Then what?
Then heirs.
And if heirs
of Elohim and joint heirs with Hamashiach.
So you joint heirs with him. Ain't that what it said right there? Go ahead.
If so be that we suffer with it, that we may be also esteemed together.
That's so if you suffer with him, you can reign with him or inherit with him. That's what he's saying, right? I got a little ahead of myself because that's what he's finna say. What's the name? Go ahead.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the esteem which shall be revealed in us for the earnest expectation of the creature.
That's good. So, of course, heirs together in 1 Peter 3 and 7 is sum kleronomos. That is a fellow heir, a joint heir, one who tames something assigned to himself with others, a joint participant. Now, it literally just said joint heir. What did I just say after that? I don't forget just that fast. Oh yeah, 2 Timothy 2 and 7. Now the key thing is if the son suffered and the father showed honor unto the weaker vessel, and you suffer with him, then guess what he would do? Show honor unto the weaker vessel so that you could be a joint heir together so that the prayers be not hindered. Because he said, Abba, make them perfect in one as we are. And that what they ask for, that it may be accomplished. You see how that works? It's the same thing. But and what I really was working to is the aspect of, and probably I'll do it tomorrow, where Paul talk about he birthed you in the gospel and how it says in Acts 14, you got to go through much tribulation to enter into the kingdom of how in your conception, you get multiplied in sorrows and pain so that you end up having a longing for your husband and then he rules over you, meaning the Lord. Thank you, Monster. This is from Lord Marshman. Yes, ma'am. That's the book right there. Medical Apartheid. I will definitely send that in the group chat. I think we had that book on hand at one time about a decade ago. But I definitely will put that to talk about this here, man. And you just have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about even if you go into the hospital and it's not pregnancy related. As a man, you should take your wife with you so she can be there. She might need to advocate for you. You know what I'm talking about? And vice versa. It just don't have to be for pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? Even if it ain't your spouse, I would not recommend going to the hospital by yourself if you are not well educated on whatever you got going on. You know what I'm saying? These people don't care about you in general. This is not to castigate everyone in the medical profession, because of course, you have doctors and nurses and surgeons who have a genuine care and concern for the people who they serve. But we also know the reality of the situation is this, that them people don't care about people in general, and that they will let people die who probably didn't need to die. You know what I'm saying? Or they will overlook certain things. It's a multitude of things. We're not here to talk bad about them people. We're just talking about the reality of what goes on. And you have to make sure that you take control of your own life instead of putting it in somebody else's hand and then being upset when they don't do what you feel they should have done. Now, I know, of course, going to the hospital and dealing with certain things is a very stressful and alarming thing, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to diminish that. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm just saying, some things just got to be done the way it need to be done. And hey, if you have to click up with people to make sure that you got people who keeping your best interests at hand, that's what you do. That's what you do. It's just really that simple. Come on and run that 2 Timothy 2 and 8 for me.
Remember that Yahushua HaMashiach of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel, wherein I suffered trouble as an evildoer unto bonds, but the word of Elohim is not bound.
The word of Elohim is not what?
Bound.
Can't put that in no chains, baby.
Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in the Mashiach Yahushua with eternal esteem. A faithful saying, for if we be dead with, we shall also live with. If we suffer.
Hold on, if we be dead with, we shall also live with. And that's what you see in Isaiah 26, just in the reverse. You see how that go back to what we were talking about earlier? A lot of people, you were born to live, to die, but some will die to live. And that's a choice and decision that if we seek to reign with him, that we have to make that decision that we're willing to die so that we can live. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him.
If we what?
If we suffer.
So if you go through the pain, you'll also reign with him or inherit with him. He can show honor to the weaker vessel. Again, showing honor to the weaker vessel is about how useful the wife is to the husband, and the husband rendering the proper reverence and respect back to her. You know what I'm saying? Showing honor to the weaker vessel is not necessarily what people want it to be. That can be the furnace of affliction. The furnace of affliction, when they describe it, there's a multitude of things. It could be the cup, but we can splice all that out. It's like four, 5 different things to get to the same destination. Read verse 12 one more time.
If we suffer with, or if we suffer, we shall also reign with. If we deny, he also will deny us.
That's good. So I'm gonna read verse 20. I'm gonna read verse 19 of this same epistle letter before we conclude. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Elohim stands sure, having this seal: the Lord know them that are his. And let everyone that name the name of a Mashiach depart from iniquity. But in the great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, some to honor and dishonor. Because remember, said weaker vessel. And I'm going back into and of course, there's proverbs that talk about that, righteous woman and a wicked woman. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to discern a vessel of honor and dishonor, because your God do. Listen what he's saying there. If a man therefore purge himself from these. So if you can get rid of those things, he shall be a vessel unto honor. And guess what it says? Sanctified and meet for the what? Master's use, prepared unto every good work. So if you have a vessel of honor, meaning your wife is an honorable woman, she's a virtuous woman, a crown to her husband, like Proverbs 12 say. You know what I'm saying? A wise woman who builds her house. She is a vessel that is meet for the master's use, the same way that Yahushua was a vessel meet for his father's use. Do you know what I'm talking about? Prepared unto every good work. He showed reverence, because that word honor, one of the definitions is reverence, respect. Reverence just means respect. So this woman is a vessel unto honor, and she's performing every good work according to your will. Why you don't show respect to your wife? What's wrong with you? Because if God doing it to his son, and his son is doing it to his wife, which is the people, and you can see them doing this in their deeds and their actual interactions in the text with the house of Yasharal, you a whole certified sucker and wicked, dirty-faced bastard if your wife is doing every good work and you not requiting her with that reverence and respect. You wicked as hell. And ain't no way around that. That's why your prayers don't get answered. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he say they get hindered. That's why Mashiach said, I know you hear me always, because he always showed respect unto his wife. Even the ones who didn't fulfill it was useful for his aims. My God, today. Verse 22, flee also youthful lust. And we've dealt with that, but that was a long time ago. When you look at youthful lust, you can line that up with the law. More specifically, Yahushua son of Nun statement. Then you go in the law when he say, leave all that stuff on the other side of the flood. Them lusting for cucumbers, leeks, and melons and all that. That was them youthful lusts. Oh, let's make us a bull. Yeah, man, you got to flee all them lusts you had in your youth. Remember, he said, when I was a child, I thought as a child. You were immature. You ain't know no better. You know, children move off of impulse. That's another mistake that most black people make. You expect a small child to have the mental and emotional capacity of an adult. What are you expecting from a 4-year-old? What are you expecting from an 8-year-old? They're going to do what 8-year-olds do. They don't have emotional regulation and impulse control as a 35-year-old man does. That's why when you see a grown man who doesn't have impulse control, you look at him with disdain and disgust. And what do you usually say? He's acting like a what? A child. So you have to flee those youthful desires. You should not be lusting after the same things you lusted after when you was 19. Now you 33. You're 42. You 45 years old. You want to be in the club talking about you heard that new Glorilla. I'm finna go see Drake. I only say that because we seen the video of this nigga walking with bullet wounds and a sweatshirt with smoke coming out the back of the wounds. I said, this dude is the greenest and lamest nigga I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, I didn't really fool with the club music like that. It was a few songs I heard, and I'm like, they cool. But I don't fool with a lot of these new people like that. Nothing personal against them. I don't. Yeah, I just don't. Jimmy loved to cut the radio on. He get mad. I cut that whole off. I don't want to hear that junk. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to hear none of that junk. You know what I'm saying? Only time he get off with the radio on is if he in the U-Haul. I don't want to hear none of that junk. Man, I would listen to some of them songs. I'm like, bro, this junk is terrible. This stuff is terrible. And I ain't even saying terrible like, oh, you're old, it's new people. No, like just sonically, the music is terrible. Melodically, the music is terrible. I'm not even talking about the lyrics. I'm just talking about the music. None of the music is terrible. This is horrible. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. It's horrible. But people like what they like. And you can't be mad. You know what I'm saying? Some people get mad. You like that? Well, if that's what they like, you ain't got to listen to it. You mad at nigga because he listening to something in his house in his car. It ain't your car. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to the radio. I stopped doing that a long time ago. Come on. Hell, I better listen to the music on Apple Music. Bravo. We done? Oh, no. I'm in verse 23. I'm sorry. But it said, but flee also youthful lust. But follow righteousness, faith, love, and peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they gender strifes. This is something that most Israelites just do not understand. That man say foolish and unlearned questions, don't even answer, knowing that it's going to lead to contention. I think that happened the other day, Mama Steph. DNA asked me something. I told him, bro, I'm not entertaining that. He didn't know what to do with that. When I do to people like that, they don't know what to do with that. When I'm telling them, I'm not answering that. I'm not entertaining that. You know what I'm saying? I know you just asked me an idiotic question. You know what I'm talking about? For the purpose of contention. And I'm not finna participate in that with you. Like, you understand that you have to get to a certain state of spiritual maturity when you understand when someone is asking you an unlearned question, a tempting question, or a foolish question, and you don't engage. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that. It's certain questions I'm not answering. They look, oh, you running. You know what I'm saying? Nah, because I don't have a desire to contend with you. And that's what I meant earlier. People like that. People think it's weird when you don't want to do that. Like, why do you think I'm weird? Because I don't want to argue with you. And that I actually have the discipline to say, no, cuz I'm not doing that with you. Talk to somebody else. He say he'll put all my 6 in spikes. Mama says, I don't mind telling them I'm a trice. See, I don't mind telling them, no, I'm not doing this, and this is why. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not answering that because you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? How many times, and you know where I learned that from? Reading the Lord say, why tempt you me? Like he knew what they were doing. Why you, and tempt just mean try. Why you trying me, bro? Why you sizing me like that? That's effectively in our vernacular what he was saying. Why you trying me, bro? Don't try me like that. Why you sizing me? Don't size me like that. I know what you're doing. One of the greatest things you could do to a jackass is tell him that you know that he's a jackass and I know what you're doing and why you're trying to do it and I'm not going to participate. They don't know what to do with that because they're unaccustomed. Because you know what most people do? Can't recognize the fact that you're dealing with a literal male donkey that has the brain of a pea. So he thinks that you're just as much as a simpleton as him and that he can be able to get the pleasure that he derives from strife and contention. Like I tell Muffin all the time, you 7 years old, you're supposed to outsmart the toddler, not the toddler outsmart you. I told you plenty of times, boy, I'm not finna be stressed and outsmarted by somebody who boo-boo on themselves. You understand what I'm telling you? If I had to teach you how to not boo-boo on yourself, you could never stress me out. And you have to look at some people from a spiritual standpoint that is a baby who's boo-booing on themselves. What I look like letting you stress me out? You don't even know how to control your bowels. That's what I'm talking about. For real though, man. He said, the servant of the Lord must not strive. If you gonna serve God, you cannot be fighting all the time. Can't do it. He said, you must be gentle unto all, apt to teach, patient. Tell them what gentle, tell them what patient mean. Apt to teach means skilled. So you can't be contentious. You got to be skilled. If you say you a servant of the Lord, if you always strife filled, you don't work for him. Go ahead.
Gentle is apios, affable, mild, gentle,
kind. Let me tell y'all what affable means, because you know that's a nice word. Affable. I've used that word a time or two in my lifetime. Not frequently. Not frequently, but a time or two. You know, affable by definition is friendly, good-natured, easy to talk to. What is characteristics of an affable person? They're friendly, they're approachable, they are a good listener, they have a positive attitude. Synonyms for affable is kindly, civil, warm, gracious, hospitable, polite, cordial, genial, outgoing, and sociable. Now you heard all those things, kind, polite, all these things is the characteristics of your God. Then he said easy to talk to. And you know what Proverbs 18 say? A man who has friends got to do what, Civic? Show himself friendly. If you can't show yourself friendly, you ain't no servant of no Lord. That man ain't sending you out here to be fussing and fighting and doing all this here with nobody. Nigga, that's all you. That's carnal, man. What are you talking about? Go ahead and tell him what patient is, man.
That is anexic akos. That's patient of ills and wrongs, forbearing.
That means forbearing, patience of ills and wrongs. That means that people can do you wrong and you don't, it's long suffering. Again, so when you turn around and look at this, what have you seen? You've seen the servant of the Lord. Where you see you who are striving with anybody. He said, my spirit will not always strive with man. That's what your law say. So he don't even strive and contend. Clearly, he's affable, kind, and easy to talk to. Of course, he would be skilled to teach. It's his word. And then he long-suffering. Then he said, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves. If Elohim peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledgement of the truth. Go ahead and tell them what meekness is. We know what it is, but you understand. It's for accuracy's sake.
Priotes, gentleness, mildness, meekness.
Gentleness, mildness, meekness. What was the last one?
Humility.
Humility. Let's see what humility is, man. Because you know niggas be like, I'm humble. You're ugly is what you is. And I ain't talking about on the outside. Humility, by definition, is a modest or low view of one's importance. Let's see some synonyms for it if we can find them. He said, "What are 5 ways to be humble? Admit mistakes." Listen, that's something else, and that'll go into that leadership book that Mama Steph sent. I still got to figure out a way to work that in. Let's say some of the characteristics of humility is self-awareness, empathy, modesty, selflessness, accountability, and patience. But I want synonyms. Where are the synonyms? Civic done hid the synonyms. Why he do that? It ain't nothing too out of the way with it. They hiding too much stuff. They trying to sell me something. I don't want to buy nothing you're selling. Nevertheless, most people are definitely grossly overinflate their own importance. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he said, ask of me, learn of me, for I'm lowly and meek in heart. This man was the son of God. He said, I'm your king. He said, you call me Lord and Master, and you say, well. He said, if I, your Lord and Master, wash your feet, you ought to do what? Wash one another's feet. That's humility. And he wasn't just humble with people who he liked. He was even that with his enemies. See, that's the test of your godliness. Can you still be godly to people who don't agree with you? Can you still be godly to your enemies? Can you still be godly to people who aren't your friends? Can you be godly to people who can't benefit you? Most people can't do that. That they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. And with that being said, hallelujah for Yahushua's word. Yeah, that's what he said. What thanks have you? I appreciate y'all. And I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. And again, I mentioned this here. You know, you can pray for the sister who's the husband's on life support and her children. You know what I'm saying? Our sister here who got some things going on with her family. You know what I'm talking about? And just yeah, man, because look at right. Ben tell you righteous prayer of a for righteous man avail much, but also more this there, man. You should always pray, amen. You should always pray for each other. It doesn't matter if you're super close or this, that, then the third. You ain't necessarily even got to know people's name. People, everybody going through something out this hole. You understand what I'm telling you? I praise you, Lord, Sister Rose. Amen, yet die. But the thing is everybody need that. Shalom, Mumster. Everybody need that prayer, strength, man. And you should always be praying for the body anyway, whether you know the people directly or not. You know what I'm saying? You should always be praying for him to send laborers into the harvest. You should always be thinking about other people outside of yourself. Shalom, Sister Gina. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, let me tell you, man, life is real. People be dealing with stuff. They be going through things, man. And, you know, every bit of strength that an individual can get, you can't never have too much strength. Let me just put it that way. You know what I'm saying? And as I told y'all before, and I'll say this again, now I know everybody don't know each other like this, that, there, and the third. And I know the trepidation that people can have of integrating themselves into new people, especially people in the word, because a lot of niggas be faking. You know what I'm talking about? But as I told you, you know, if you've been around here, you know what that Job say. Shalom, Misha. He says scales stick close together where air can't get in between. You know what I'm saying? Prince of the power of the air, always looking for cracks. And of course, you know how Pac put it. You know what I'm saying? How can the devil take my brother if he's close to me? That's what people problem is. People not close to each other. The only reason why people ain't close to each other because they don't love each other, because they don't fool with each other for real. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't control. Shalom, Eric, man. Yes, sir. I can't control what other people do. But what I can do is to set it where you know that this is the culture of this particular organization, that you niggas gonna love and fool with each other, or you gonna get your funky behind from around here. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got to kick you out. You gonna leave on your own. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't gonna have love, what is you here for, bro? Because ain't nobody finna be faking and funking with you. You know what I'm saying? I did with listening to a video, what that was, a chick who was on tonight's conversation, and she was talking about what to do. I forgot what she said. They called this psychological term. But he would call one woman and say, "Oh, she's talking bad about you," and then call the other woman and say, "Oh, she's talking bad about you," to have these people at odds. And she said he couldn't do that with the men, so he did that with the women. See, people in the man, look here, man. I don't want no niggas around here, man. Don't be sitting around here talking about people, man. Just go and have a conversation with them, or just don't say nothing at all and just be professional and don't fool with them. You know what I'm saying? Because all that does is cause confusion and idiocy. And y'all know how I feel about that, because then they get to me, then I have to deal with it. And I don't want to deal with that with grown people. I don't want to deal with that. And I'm not going to deal with that. And y'all know that, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick it back to y'all. Y'all be adults and y'all handle that. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are grown. Hell, I look like. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she said that. I don't know what did you hear her say it? No. Then why you running with it then? And who the one told you that? And why was you stupid enough to repeat it? You know what I'm talking about? Why was you stupid? Man, I lived my whole life like that. 9 times out of 10, I ain't even finna come to nobody and be like, such and such said, you said this. I'm not even finna insult the nigga by coming to you with no stupid junk like that, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know why? Because what if you didn't say that? Now a relationship possibly could be ruined. But what I can do is, if a person said you said this, now I'm going to watch how both of you behave. And your behavior over time will be able to reveal who said what. You know what I'm talking about? And who did what. And then I'll deal with you accordingly. But if everybody say, oh, we in the family of God, we in the household of God, then you should treat each other like that then. Why talk about somebody when you could just talk to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with that? Is that what your family did? Well, your family was dysfunctional if that's what they did. You know what I'm talking about? Because you shouldn't do that, man. And I really want to say, because most of the time, y'all ain't even talking about nothing. If you sitting around talking about other people like that, that means your life boring. You ain't got enough going on. You need to get some hobbies, some extracurricular activities. Maybe you need to pick up an extra shift. Maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe you need to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to do something because you got too much goddamn time on your hands because you worry about other people and what they got going on. Stuff's not cool. Not for saints. No, man, that junk ain't cool. And this is not an environment where that would be fostered. Meaning, if it get back to me, I'm going, nah, we don't do that here. Now, one thing about it, I don't know what everybody doing, and I don't be looking into what everybody doing, because that ain't my business. You know what I'm talking about? That's not my business. I ain't calling what Civic doing. I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing none of that. But if it get back to me, man, and it's on some other stuff, I'm going, hey, man, y'all need to get this together. See, that's what I meant earlier when I'm like, y'all niggas not going, that's how you get stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Because people doing all this stuff and you feel like you got to go oh, no, y'all grown. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. That's high school stuff. I'm not dealing with that. We grown people. You supposed to be people of God. Why you don't love that person? What did they do to you? You got to ask yourself something, man. If a nigga didn't do nothing to you, why you got beef with them? Why you dislike them? They ain't do nothing to you. I'm talking about really do something to you. I'm not talking about a disagreement. I ain't talking about people bumping heads. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they ain't do nothing to you. Not for to be like, I don't like them and this, that. What did they do? And when you sit back and you go to actually saying it out loud what they did, you'll realize how immature you are. Or how now I can't tell people how to respond to certain things, because if it's serious to you, it's serious to you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you can't be blowing things out of proportion relative to what has occurred. And I say it once and I conclude with this: the love has to be greater than the offense. If you sinned against God, and when I say that, I ain't even talking about the sins that men do. You worship other gods. And if his love was greater than that offense, which is worthy of death, and he put his son to death so that you might live, well, you can set your love greater than the offense. Y'all ain't sinning against each other in that fashion. Y'all not violating each other in that fashion. And I'm not saying any of y'all specifically per se, but I have to say that because we all here as a whole. You know what I'm talking about? Man, we ain't coming at each other like that, man, for it to be that doggone serious. If a man could sit back and say the first instruction he gave you is have no other God before me and don't bow down to it, and the love he had was greater than that offense, ain't no way in the world y'all can't sort nothing out. You know what I'm talking about? Like you can't convince me of that. And you say this is what you believe. This is what you base your life on. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, ain't how it's supposed to be. But y'all willing, man, we'll be back on tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. And I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Y'all remember on the 1st, that's the Sabbath. So that's a double up for Purim. So be advised. You know, service on the 1st, service on the 2nd. That's Sunday night. Don't call me on the 3rd because I ain't going to be available because I ain't working. You know what I'm saying? So don't ask and don't tell because I won't be here that day. No, I'll just have to, yeah, I'm not preaching on the 3rd. But the 1st and the 2nd, Trap House be open. So that'll be that Saturday and that Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll roll into unleavened bread. For those that don't know, when unleavened bread come around, it'll be service every single day of that particular feast week. So that means April the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe not the 9th in the daytime. But every other day, yeah, we're going to be rolling. So if you're from, amen, Brother Marcus, if you're out of town and you're trying to slide through, just let me know. Not because, for only because Muffin needs to be able, and Deidre and Lee and Kalisha and Nisha and Callie, all the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Doris. I don't want to leave nobody out. If I left you out, I'm sorry. My mind, I'm old. But they need to know so that they can prepare accordingly. You know what I'm saying? How they prep the food, things of that nature. That's all. So there's that. And you were willing on the morrow. Okay, that's a bet. That's a bet, Mika. That's a bet. Ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, that's what it is. Also, I say it now. If by reason, for whatever reason, anybody would be unclean in order to not take the Passover, of course, you know that there's the second Passover in May. And if we have to do that, everybody's attendance is not required, just the people who need to do it. If you desire to attend, of course, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody like, no, nigga, you can't come over here. You know what I'm saying? But we would scream. But if no one needs to do second Passover, then it won't be done. That's not something you just do just to do. You do it if individuals, for whatever reason, are not able to partake. So with that being said, y'all willing to tomorrow, we're going to make it do what it do. That boy looks